Hey, peace. I hope all is well. Do me a favor, press one in the chat room if you can hear me. Press one in the chat room if you can hear me. I'm having some issues with my other mic. So I have on this mic, but the clip on this mic is broken. So I'm not sure um, if the actual sound is working. If not, I will go grab another mic. But do me a favor, press one. Again, press one in the chat room if you can hear me loud and clear. Press one. So I'm gonna wait for that because if you don't press one, I'm assuming that you guys can't hear me. Again, if you don't press one, I'm assuming that you guys can't hear me. But anyways, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. I am King Wabi. Can you hear me? Press one. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you guys can hear me. Perfect. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Also, make sure you visit Danfo, 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 DANFO.Africa. We have tours coming up. Sierra Leone, November 20th through December 3rd. November 20th through December 3rd. We're rolling to Sierra Leone. If you're interested in joining us, please go to Danfo.Africa. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Also, Nigeria, August 8th through the 17th. August 8th through the 17th, we are rolling to Nigeria. If you're interested, again, if you're interested in joining us, we got a couple more spots for the Oshun Festival. Visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Again, Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Also, people are always asking, Dynas, where do you get the gear from? Where do you get the gear from? Go to amirdynast.com. Again, go to amirdynast.com. And grab your gear. Again, go to amirdynast.com and grab the gear. Somebody is asking, Dynas, how do you call in? In about 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to put a link in the chat room. Again, in about 20 to 30 minutes, I am going to put a link in the chat room. So when I do that, you just click on a link and you call in. Guys, listen. All right, so I'm pretty sure you guys know what situation I'm going to be discussing today. I'll probably play the video here shortly. I'm going to be as respectful as possible, but at the same time, I want to be balanced. Okay. I want to be respectful as possible. At the same time, I want to be balanced. You guys know I'm huge on accountability. Okay. I'm huge on accountability. But for some reason, it seems as men have to be held to a certain standard of accountability, but women don't. But again, we're going to be balanced. We're going to be fair. I'm going to be as nice as possible. But it's hard to have a conversation like this without offending people. But I'm just going to be honest. So I'm going to jump right into it. No, the father of that child is not responsible for those other kids. The father of the child who received the Mickey D's is not responsible for those other kids. All right. Number one, let's just keep it real. A lot of mothers are in a similar situation to what this lady is in. They receive a government subsidy. Again, they receive a government subsidy to take care of their kids. All right. They already receive money to take care of their kids, whether it's from Fulton County, Sacramento County, Los Angeles County, Dade County, whatever county, they are already receiving a government subsidy to take care of those kids. So if a father comes by and brings food for his kid, instead of telling that father, oh, you should have spent money for all the kids, no, you go get your WIC card, you go get your EBT card and say, hey, listen, can you go pick up food for the other kids? Use this card that I get from the government on a monthly basis for each kid and go get the other kids some food. Again, go get your WIC card, Go get your EBT card, that benefit card, that food stamp card, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you go grab that card. They accept, I'm here in Atlanta, they accept EBT at Popeyes. A lot of these fast food restaurants, they take EBT. A man brings food for his child, which I'm going to get into. If you think it's unfair, if you think it's not right, you say, you know what? Thank you. I'm dead serious. A lot of these restaurants here in America, in Atlanta, fast food restaurants, they take EBT. So what you should have done, listen, Dad, thank you for bringing McDonald's for your kids. Can you know what? I want to get McDonald's for all my other kids. Here goes the EBT card. Can you go grab him some McDonald's? He's responsible for his kid. See, this is the thing. You guys want to co-parent a lot of, not all of you, but a lot of women in this situation. You guys want to co-parent with Fulton County. You want to co-parent with Fulton County, Los Angeles County. Well, it's not even co-parenting, it's tri-parenting. It's tri-parenting. You want to sit here and milk the system and tri-parent with Fulton County, Los Angeles County, Kings County, all these counties. And then you want to go after the dads too, which is fine. But if you're already getting a subsidy from the county to take care of your kids, and if a father of one of your children comes through with food for his kids, use that money that's already designated that you get for your other kids. Use that money and also get those kids some McDonald's with the money that you already get from the government. See, you want money from the government, then you want money from the father, and just how absurd it is. How absurd it is how you're expecting the father of one of your kids to take care of your other kids when you're already getting a subsidy from the government to take care of your other kids. So use that money. Why was he dealing with the woman on the stage? Sandy, I'm going to get into that as well. Let me write that down. Because in the black community in America, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. Let me pivot. In the black community, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. So if this man decided, listen, I'm not dealing with any single mothers who are, who's on the state. Here come y'all. Oh, a real man gonna take care of a kid that ain't his. A real man is gonna take care of a kid that ain't his. Real men step up and take care of kids that ain't his. So it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. So you're complaining about him taking care of his kid, right? You're complaining about him taking care of his kid. But then if this woman approaches him or he approaches her and he finds out that she has several kids by several men and is in the system, and he says, you know what, I'm good, here y'all come. A real man take care of a kid that ain't his. A real man take care of a kid that ain't his. Am I lying? Am I lying? And I said this before, in the black community here in America, we're the only community that when a black man kills another black man, we want to point to other communities and say, well, they do it too. No other community does that. Here's another one. The black community in America is the only community that if a man says, you know what, listen, you're a single mother, you got children from different men, I'm a pass. We're the only community that will guilt men and challenge their manhood for not wanting to marry women with multiple kids by multiple men. The only community that does it. I don't hear this from any other community on the planet. But that's the catch 22. Because I'm seeing that comment in that statement when it comes to this situation. You got a lot of women saying, oh, well, you should have saw her past. You should have saw, she has multiple children with multiple men. Why'd you get involved with that? But then here y'all come. A real man will take care of a kid that ain't his. That's what I'm saying. He did his job. He brought McDonald's for his child. Jamil, this has nothing to do with slavery. And I'm going to do a show about that tomorrow. We need to stop blaming the white man in slavery for the dysfunction in 2022. We need to stop blaming slavery and the white man for the dysfunction that's going on in 2022. The guy wasn't married to the mother. They had a child together. He's taking care of his kid. The other kids, she gets a subsidy from the government to take care of. Yeah, slavery has nothing to do with this. Slavery has absolutely nothing to do with this. Because before integration, we were married. This stuff wasn't going on like it's going on now. Right after slavery, before integration, none of this stuff was going on the rate it's going on now. Exactly. Nah, she should have called up the other daddies. Where's the other fathers at? Where's the other dads at? So she's getting a subsidy from the government to feed the children. She's getting a subsidy from the government to take care of the other kids. Where are the other fathers at? But you want to put all the pressure on this man to take care of these kids and bring food for these kids. I mean, there's so many layers to this. No, I want to show you guys something. Hold on one second. I want to show you guys something. This is the type of stuff that goes on.
When a divorced dad was ordered to pay child support for a child who isn't his, he turned to our Target 8 investigators for help. We uncovered it's perfectly legal for the state to order him to pay support for another man's child and to deny biological fathers who want to pay from doing so. Target 8's Heather Walker exposes a law that's being called outrageous.
Guys, give me some. I'm having problems with the sound. Give me a
Joseph
second.
Shamilar is a divorced dad of two. Not even 9 months after the split, Joe got some shocking news from his boys.
And they got in the car and they were bouncing up and down, telling me that mom has a new baby. And I said, well, is she babysitting? Is she, is she looking after someone?
So you didn't think it was real?
No, I had no idea.
His ex-wife had given birth. She had gotten pregnant during their separation by another man. Legally, she was still married to Joe. Court papers clearly acknowledged the baby is not Joe's, but Albert Bush's, and that Bush had established a personal, financial, or
ordered to pay child support for a child who isn't his. He turned to our Target 8 investigators for help. We uncovered it's perfectly legal for the state to order him to pay support for another man's child and to deny biological fathers who want to pay from doing so. Target 8's Heather Walker exposes a law that's being called outrageous.
What's going on, buddy?
Joseph Shamilar is a divorced dad of two. Not even 9 months after the split, Joe got some shocking news from his boys.
And they got in the car and they were bouncing up and down, telling me that mom has a new baby. And I said, well, is she babysitting? Is she, is she looking after someone?
So you didn't think it was real?
No, I had no idea.
His ex-wife had given birth. She had gotten pregnant during their separation by another man. Legally, she was still married to Joe. Court papers clearly acknowledged the baby is not Joe's, but Albert Bush's, and that Bush had established a personal, financial, or custodial relationship with the child. The court ordered medical expenses be split between the biological parents. But the Friday before Father's Day, Joe got a letter in the mail from friend of the court.
I thought, my God, this is hilarious. It's Father's Day weekend, and here's the biggest joke that I think I've ever had played on me transpiring right now.
The letter said he owed $8,500 in back child support plus medical expenses for a baby his ex-wife had with another man. So the court was asking you to pay for a child that's not yours.
Exactly.
I went to Ottawa County friend of the court office to get answers. How is this legal? Their spokesperson agreed to do an on-camera interview, but on the scheduled day changed his mind and would only answer our questions over the phone. He told us it didn't matter who the biological dad is, only what's in the best interest of the child. In other words, which one can take best care of the child financially. The court decided that was Joe.
Do you think this law needs to be changed in any way?
We went straight to the man who tried to fix the law, Senator Rick Jones.
I certainly would agree that if you're married to someone, they then run off and have a child by another man, that you should not have to pay child support. That seems a bit outrageous.
The original law was written back in 1956. It said if a child is born to a married woman, the biological dad has no legal rights. Last year, it was updated to allow husbands like Joe to fight financial responsibility.
What's the biggest problem with the law and the language, would you say?
It's not clearly drafted.
Melissa Drake is Joe's attorney. She tells us the law isn't just failing him, it's not working for biological dads either. Rob Recknagel says he's had trouble eating and sleeping since his son was born.
Every single day that goes by that I don't get to see him, it just gets tougher. I don't know what he looks like.
Rob says he searched online hospital nurseries just to see if he could find his son. He says he didn't know his girlfriend was still married when they got together. Rob says they were planning to blend their families. Rob bought a ring. But before she gave birth, Rob says he got this email saying although the baby was his, she was going to raise it with her husband.
I'm standing here saying, I want my son in my life. I want to pay child support. Let's sign the proper documents and let me just do that.
You're trying to do the right thing.
That's all I want.
What can be done about this?
What can be done about this is people should be more responsible and shouldn't have sex outside of marriage, shouldn't father children outside of marriage, and should think before they act. That's what needs to happen. Could we do more? Yes. Could we fine tune it? Yes. Should a father have to pay support on a child when it's not his child? No. So we do need to do more, but we've made some monumental changes.
Heather Walker reporting. Well, after we started questioning friend of the court, it dropped its request for Joe to pay child support. In fact, 10 days ago, an Ottawa County judge issued an order clearing Joe of all responsibility for that child. As
All right, here's another one. So this is what goes on in America. This is the way they play the system. All right, this is how the system is exploited right here.
Wild and unbelievable stories here in Detroit.
This is one of them.
This is one of them. Imagine being told to pay child support for a kid that is not yours or go to jail. That was the order the state handed down to a Detroit man.
So today he turned himself in, but here's what happened when 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell went with him to court.
Carnell Alexander walked into the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice knowing in moments he could lose his freedom.
I stayed up all night, couldn't sleep, thinking about it.
Carnell is a wanted man because he refuses to do what the state orders and to pay child support for a child that DNA tests prove isn't his, a child he doesn't even know.
I haven't even had a chance to really speak to him except for one time when we took the DNA test.
Nonetheless, right now, under the law, he's a deadbeat dad. Today, he turned himself in to the judge as ordered.
Scared because I've been before this judge before.
But this time he had attorney Cherika Harris, who volunteered to help after seeing his story on 7 Action News. The judge said he will not go to jail for today.
Thank you. Thank Ms. Harris and hope that we can resolve this soon.
I'm just trying to help him with his future.
Though the threat of jail is on hold, it is not over. Carnell Alexander still owes more than $30,000 to the state for a child that's not his because the mom wrote his name down because she needed to name someone in order to get welfare benefits.
And I had to put him down as the father. That was the only way I can get the system.
Now,
I'm almost homeless. I'm almost in jail. I'm out of work. My money is being threatened to be taken.
Carnell isn't just worried about how this is impacting him. He says the law needs to be changed. So when this happens, as it often does, other men don't become dad by default.
We can be defaulted into being a father of a child that is not ours. I don't understand that law, but it is a law in place.
In Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Yeah, you would think that mother would have to pay that money back instead of him, who's not the father's child.
So this is the point I'm trying to make, guys. Don't feel sorry for those kids for not getting McDonald's. Don't guilt that man for not bringing McDonald's to the other kids. There's so many safety nets, subsidies, this EBT card, this program, that program that a lot of women get to take care of these kids. Like I said, she could have easily used her card and went and got the other kids some McDonald's. They get paid money by the government. This is subsidized by the government. Guys, hit the like button. Again, do me a favor, hit that like button. But this is what goes on. And listen, this is not even the tip of the iceberg. That's why when, I was reading, when the story was originally posted about, the man, he brought McDonald's for his kid, not the other kids, and a woman flipped out, and women were and even men were in the chat. Oh, a real man, you ain't gonna leave the other kids out. You ain't gonna leave the other kids out, man. Why are you leaving the other kids out? Why you ain't taking care of the other kids? A real man, a real man would have bought McDonald's for all the kids. Hold on. She gets a check every month to go and buy those kids some McDonald's. She gets a check every month. Hold on, let me pull something up, and then I'm gonna open up the lines here in a second. Hold on, I want to look something up. I want to look up another video. Guys, give me 1 second. This right here is important, just to show the type of benefits a lot of these sisters get for having these children, how they get subsidized. Why him only bringing his kid McDonald's is not a problem, because she gets money to bring food for the other kids. Hold on. Let me try to find this other video. Give me a second. I want to find this. And guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. Man, I got to find this. And guys, I'm going to put the link in the chat room here shortly. Hold on. But yeah, I got to find this video, man. Here we go. Now, this is a sad story, but I'm going to use this to prove a point. All right, here we go. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button.
Are stealing money given to families through federal assistance programs, sometimes hours after the money is deposited onto their cards.
Now, when WMER2 News' Maui Safaste first started reporting on this issue, the state told her that they couldn't replace the stolen money. She's learned that that's not entirely true. Tonight, she's got an update on this situation, because if it matters to you, it's a matter for Mallory.
The Maryland Department of Human Services keeps telling us they can't replace these stolen funds, but the federal government confirms they can with state or local money. And this problem is getting worse. With no enhanced security features or reimbursement, families are having to race to the ATM to beat thieves to their own money.
The whole room, the whole building. And it sounds like bingo in there.
A game no one wants to be a part of. The board reserved for victims whose food or cash assistance benefits were stolen.
Somebody they just took a whole $800 from me. Girl said, "You too got me for $6." I'm sitting in the back. No, baby, they got me for $2,200. The whole room got quiet.
Jamie A's benefits were swiped twice, 2 months in a row at the same ATM.
725 Eden Street, Wells Fargo, so y'all know too? That's how I'm looking.
We reported on this ATM last month when 2 women lost over $1,400 in temporary cash assistance. Baltimore police confirming 4 people lost more than $2,200. Economic Crimes believes it's the work of the same person who skimmed, then cloned the victims' cards. Combined with emails we've received from other victims, the total exceeds $5,000 taken at this one location.
What's going on? And now, mind you, I got a whole new card, whole new pen.
And this isn't a game. That money is reserved for basic living expenses.
You know, bills, we eat with it till the food stamps do come. It's a lot of people, and a lot of them was down there upset because their refrigerators and stuff was empty. Say tea.
Tea. Stephanie Deloy chooses her money to care for her 5 kids.
Tea.
Tea. Stephanie Deloy chooses her money to care for her 5 kids. But this month,
guys, I want to stop it right there. She uses her money to care for her 5 kids. For her 5 kids. So the point I'm trying to make, a lot of these women get subsidized from the government on a federal level, a state level, to feed these kids. So you use that money to go get your kids some McDonald's, and it shouldn't be on that man. Period.
Someone across the country snatched it from her.
$940 was going off my card at 1:13 a.m. in the morning in Los Angeles, California.
She said the customer service rep saw several attempted transactions before it went through.
When the transaction is not getting approved, shutting the card locked.
The Maryland Department of Human Services is warning customers about this spike.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So this man brings food for his child. She's upset that she's upset that he didn't bring the McDonald's for all the other children. But you got daddy federal, you got daddy state, you got child support services that daddy is already paying for the child's food. So use that money to go get your other children some McDonald's. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But guys, listen, links in the chat. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room if you want to call in and add to the conversation. Link is in the chat room. I love to hear from the women. I would love to hear from the women to tell me where I'm wrong. Let me hear from the women to tell me where I'm wrong. Guys, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and click the link and call in. So yeah, the state is already paying for the. Listen, you already get. So when I used to play, ran track and play football at the University of Georgia. After every game, get Chrissy, can you hear me? Chrissy.
Hi, yes, I'm sorry. I hear you.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So this is, it's a very sad situation, but I wanted to call in to I might sound like I'm gonna be unfair, but that's not what I'm trying to do. So just hear me out. I have to appeal to the men. For y'all to be more conscious of your decisions. And I'm gonna tell you why. The type of women we're talking about, I can't reach them. You can't reach them.
Chrissy, can I interject real quick? I
Go
promise I'm
ahead.
not cutting you off. Okay, in Jamaica,
Yes.
Women like the women that I showed you, right?
Mhm.
When you were in Jamaica, were
Yes.
there other women running around Jamaica saying, "A real man, we need to marry these sisters." A
Not
real
that I'm
man,
aware of. No.
But see,
One thing I can
that's
say,
every day. That's all. That's what they do here in America. They were
right.
literally, instead of putting pressure on the biological fathers to step up, they will
Mhm.
sit here and guilt men to come and fill in.
Right. One thing I can say that is refreshing, and things, we're all kind of globalized, so things might change, but it's refreshing now when I see stories like this, and I'm in, the Jamaican chats, and we're talking. Women tend to come down hard on women, like not in a humiliated way, but in a way that it's
One
just
second.
like,
One second. Shay, you got to turn off.
Oh, it's frozen.
You're back. Something very key to that people. All right, can you guys? My internet keeps going in and out.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
hear me? Can you
breaking
guys
up.
hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. But key, let me just stop my cam. All right, but you said something very key, Chrissy.
Okay.
You said your Jamaican chats.
Uh-huh.
Because in the Black American chats, oh, a real man gonna take care of kids that ain't his.
No. I would say the average Jamaican woman that I know and that I see would say, well, it would be nice if he wanted to, but he's not obligated to do that. Like, he's not obligated to do that, you know? And to me, it starts at the fact that you have your multiple children by multiple men, and you have no shame, and you actually are saying this to the world on your phone, on social media. So you have no shame behind your behavior, and you come with your prideful chest to come and try to humiliate him. You know what I'm saying? And from hearing him speak, he sounds like somebody who's sensible. But as I said, these type of women, nobody can reach them. I cannot reach them. You cannot reach them. So all I can say is a plea to the men. Men, you guys have to be more sexually responsible because condoms can break, and we all know where babies come from. I don't care how sexy she is. If it is not a woman that you would want to be the mother of your child, please do not sleep with her. If she is not a woman you can hold on your arm and hold your head up high, please do not sleep with her. I can only appeal to y'all because when you talk to the women, even as a woman, they come down on you. You're a pick me and you're this, you're a man goose and all kind of stuff. I can't reach them. I can only reach y'all. Men, you must use sexual discipline or your life will be hell. If I was a man, my seed, you have to understand your seed is connected to your wallet. I would be so protective of my seed. You would have to be somebody special to get my seed for me to even possibly impregnate you. You have to think in these terms. If not, you're going to end up in bad situations. Look at the woman's character. Stop sleeping with people you just met. That's the problem with the culture, and that's global now. Everybody's sleeping with people they just met. Stop doing that. Stop sleeping with people you barely know. Get to know the woman before you lay down with her, even with a condom. Learn what kind of character she have, just in case y'all have an accident. Would you be able to sleep at night? Don't sorry, I'm not saying every woman who have multiple kids with that, but you know, come on, you know, it don't look good. Don't try not to pick up a woman who have, sorry, it's my son coming in, who have multiple children by multiple men. That says something about character and her sexual discipline. So y'all have to do things differently, or you're gonna face these consequences.
Can you hear me?
I can, but I don't see Dynas.
Okay, well, I see you pausing a little bit. I'm going to interject some conversation that I think is, you know, from my perspective, which is basically this. I'm a single man right now at this time. I don't have kids. And I have thought about adopting, not legally adopting, but, you know, trying to help some sisters out that maybe I have met I have met women in the past that I could think of helping them. They're struggling. They have, you know, more than one kid. And I think, and that's in the spirit of it takes a village. So I think that depending on the situation, this woman's character is what it is. This man has had a child with her. Probably he knew that, or if he didn't know that, he should have known that shortly after, and then now he does know what type of character this woman that he has a child with has. So I think that if the woman is struggling and she's having a hard time making ends meet, he can talk to her about that. I mean, it's not his responsibility, but at the same time, that's the mother of his kid. So it is, in a sense, it should be of concern to him. At this point, what we're talking about, to me, what we're talking about now, I actually saw the video.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she said that her EBT doesn't come until, later in the month. So it sounds like she was having a hard time, making ends meet, perhaps. But again, I would have, done it maybe the first 1 or 2 times and let her know that I'm not going to continue to do this. This is not my responsibility. But at the same time, I understand how you don't want if you're the woman, you don't want just your kid getting food and the other kids don't have food.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, but at least an effort was made by the man to try to, understand the situation and then make decisions based on understanding the situation instead of just, I'm only buying food for my kid.
Right. No, I agree. It would be nice for him to do that. And if she wanted him to do that, you don't put the man on social media and try to humiliate him and then smash the floor. The fact that she took the food and she smashed it on the ground, tell me everything I need to know about the type of woman she is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You didn't have to do that. And just as I said, Dynas, I said, when I talk like this, see, look in the chat. Look how many people are calling me a pick-me. Right now, if I had come and said he's wrong and rip him to shreds, I like to stand on the side of logic. I don't pick the men's side or the women's side, but I look at what is logical. Was it right what she did? No, it wasn't. Was it classy what she did? No, it wasn't. Could she have come off social media and talked to him and said, hey, I don't have the money right now. Could you, get it for the kids? Or, hey, when you're doing that, let him eat it in the car because I don't want the other kids. That would have been an adult's reaction to it. The way she did it was classless.
Chrissy, if I can interject. So he offered to, hey, can my son come out and he can eat his food in the car? She got even more mad. She got more upset when he offered that.
Look, as I said, I think our problem is we don't have shame anymore. I don't know what happened to shame, but we don't have shame anymore to do certain things. To me, it's at the beginning, I would have felt shame to be on social media talking about how I have different children by different men. That's me. I would have feel shame behind that. That's just me. So, there's an arrogance there. And this is what you've spoken about in previous lives, just talking about as Black people, we don't take account. Everybody deflect. Nobody take accountability for anything. We would rather die on whatever we believe than be accountable and grow and become different people. We don't want to do that. We would rather say, what is the pick? Anybody call me a pick me? What is the pick me part of what I'm saying? If you have a son, are you not going to tell your son, hey, son, I need you to be sexually disciplined because in this country, your seed is connected to your wallet.
No,
what is wrong with saying that? That is the truth, is it not? You just gave 2 videos of the men who are not the father paying child support. That shows you that the scales are tipped in women's favor. Now, I'm not saying there shouldn't be protections for women. I'm a woman. Yes, there should be protections for women. But when you're telling me a man who is not the father have to pay for a child who's not, that tells you about the type of society we live in. So me, if it's my son, I'm going to say be sexually disciplined. And also in the Me Too era, I'm going to say if you're going to have intimacy with a woman, have a paper trail, have a text message trail. Because all she have to say, and it might not be true, right, is that something happened that she didn't want to happen. And you're finished. Nobody asks no more questions, no more investigation. You're done. So use wisdom. Who in here don't want their son to use wisdom? Chrissy, and men, as I said, you have to be sexually disciplined.
Chrissy, so when it comes to situations like this one, and some of the responses that I hear from women, I'm like, do you guys have sons? Like, would you want your son to get involved with something like this? And
I wouldn't, no.
Yeah. Shay, sorry guys, I was having some issues with my internet. Shay, are you gonna mute yourself, Shay?
Okay. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, go ahead.
So I had made some comments a little earlier, but I was just thinking one of the main points that I think is important is that in the video that I saw, she said that her EBT wasn't coming until later in the month. And so again, that is not his responsibility, but his son is. Now, if depending on the history between the man and the woman, maybe she does need help. Maybe he could work something out with her where he could help out
But
if he
Shay,
could afford to.
Sha, if I can interject, and you brought up a great point, if he could afford to. What about the other fathers or the fathers of the other children?
That's a very good question. That was one of the first things I thought about, that they should be involved in this. They should be giving something. And we don't know if they are giving money to her and she's taking it to the club every Saturday or gambling it or whatever, being irresponsible with it. They may be giving money towards the effort. We don't know. They may be in jail. They may be dead. I mean, those are all possibilities that we don't know that situation.
Black Opal Dream, go ahead. Black Opal Dream, go ahead.
Well, I didn't watch the video on I watched what you said, but I don't know a lot of the information about the McDonald's situation. But I feel like, no, he's not responsible per se. But I feel like in a situation where there's kids, for me, I know I was raised like, if in the family, if one kid got something, all the kids had to get something, whether it was your cousins or whatever, because you're not about to let the other kids just leave them out. That's kind of wrong. But it's not his responsibility to take care of her kids. But if that was me, I would have bought all the kids something, just because why would you want to leave the other kids out? You know what I mean? Especially if you're in a relationship.
But Black Opal, if I can interject, she already gets a check that covers that.
I know, but it's like when I was little, if my cousins got something, we're all in the same room. We all got something.
That's cousins.
Like,
That's completely
that
different. That's cousins. That's cousins. That's completely different.
But I also feel like, yeah, like she should be the first one to have her kids back and make sure they in. Like, don't wait for somebody else to feed your kids. And then where are, of course, the fathers in the situation? And then the other thing I want to ask about is that lady says she gets $2,200 a month from food stamps.
Yeah, you don't. Yes.
I was pissed because, like, I recently lost my job like 6 months ago. And I went I found a job, but it was only part-time, and then it was like a contract job, and that's the only job I could find. So I had to work that part-time, but of course you can't survive on that. And then so I ended up getting a part-time job at Waffle House as well, which was ghetto as hell, but I had to do it. And I got to a point where like I was going like 5 months just working part-time, and I could not find a job, and I was stuck in that contract. So I was like, let me apply for food stamps. You know what they did? They gave me $15 a month.
Because you already have a job.
Right, but it was like a part-time job.
Don't matter.
And then they refused me for like the cash assistance or whatever because I didn't have kids.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this kind of promotes, because I've always heard the thing where people have kids.
There you go.
And it promotes that because I'm like, okay, I've always been paying my taxes. I've always been taking care of myself, doing what I have to do. And then now I need help, and it's there to get help. You're going to give me $15 a month?
Yeah.
So, I mean, eventually, I only was on it for like 2 months, but that was like a slap in the face. And I'm like, I could see why when people say like people have kids for benefits, because you do benefit more when you have kids and multiple kids or whatever. But to me, I just don't understand the whole culture of people having kids willy-nilly. Like, it's, and then complaining. Like, I know a lot of people who they have kids with like somebody who it was like a one-night stand or somebody who they weren't even serious with. And then later they're like so shocked that they got pregnant, and they're like, oh, well, we never use condoms. And I'm like, so why are you shocked you got pregnant? And then 2, why are you shocked this person now is not like standing up? Being a stand-up person. You didn't even know the person. I just don't get that situation.
And we don't know the dad's financial situation. He might be, scraping and scrapping by, and that he's, able to do that for his kid, but to do that for all the kids,
Yeah, for all the kids, that's just not right. And I feel like also if you're gonna be getting a situation where you get, whether you're single or not, and you get in a situation with somebody who has kids, I think there should be understanding from the jump. Like this, you know what I mean? Like at this point, they should have to understand, like, whether he's not about to pay per kids or he is, like, it shouldn't be a shocker at this point. That's all.
Black Beauty, go ahead.
What's up?
What's up?
I didn't see the video. I really just came on just because I'm chilling. What's up?
I'm gonna pull up the video here shortly. I'm gonna pull up the video here shortly.
Pull the video. I'll give my opinion after.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let me bring my brother. Obstacles to opportunities. Obstacles to opportunities. Go ahead.
What's
brother.
going on? What's going on, my brother?
Yes, sir.
You doing good? Hey, that's good. That's good. Hey, let's start off. Hey, I love the word you used, the trifecta. What was it again? That parenting.
Yeah,
it's
it's not co-parenting. It's tri-parenting. You got the mom, the dad, and then you got the government involved, the state involved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
It's tri-parenting.
I love that. I love that. That was a good word. But I would start off by saying this. Number one, kudos to the father. It seems like he's in a difficult situation, but he's still making forth the effort to be there for his kid. Very active from what we know. So shout outs to him for doing that. That's going to be the first thing I said. And then the number two, as far as taking care of the other kids and jealousy, it's funny how people become a child psychologist very quickly and talk about the psyche of a child and the effects of him getting McDonald's and the other people not. Let me say this. I definitely had siblings, definitely 3 different fathers. And I would say my brother had his dad. His dad gave him gifts. His dad took him out. But there was no hate amongst me for him because I was happy he had his dad. His dad was alive. His dad was involved in his life. So number one, it's all about how the kids do and how the kids decide to take it. And it's not necessarily that they're going to build resentment. So that's what I would say about that. And then also following up, it's not his responsibility. Let's be glad that the father's there taking care of his children or his child that he has. As far as the other children, we don't know. We don't know the back end. We don't know what's going on. But even with the conflict that he actually received once he pulled up, right? He handled it in a way where he was still trying to find a solution, which would be good for his kid. So I'm not even going to knock what's going on, their relationship, the choices she made. I'm just going to say, hey, it's great that the father's there. He's active. He was trying to do something for his kid. As far as everybody becoming a child psychologist and talking about the negative effects, I mean, you can't just divvy out money, divvy out things of that, especially if someone's not good with money in particular. You don't just go out giving money. I think the most important thing for him is to stay tall, stay there for his child, and continue to give what he can to his child and be an active dad. And so as long as he's doing that, he's not going to give me no gripes and grooms about what he does for the other children. That's going to be the responsibility of those fathers and that mother. And I know the brother said that, that's the mother of his child, but also, we're just going to have to be smart about this. We don't know the back end. We don't know their business, but we do know he's an active father. So shout out to him. That's it.
Dynast, I was wondering, what would you say would be, it would be hard to transpose this situation in a contemporary African setting, but if you were, the closest scenario I could think is a single woman in a, village setting in 2022, and she doesn't have the government support because most governments are not, they don't have that type of setup there. But I would imagine that she has family support.
The family, the grandma, the family, they're all there.
So suppose she starts dating a man and she's considering him as a potential husband, and she's got 2 kids already or 3 kids already. Would he be? Would it be his responsibility to, bring food for all the kids. And maybe this is not even a good scenario, but
yeah, because I mean, it's just you don't see. In fact, I think it will be a good question for Chrissy because Chrissy's from Jamaica. Because you don't really see stuff like this in Africa to the level it is here in America. Like he had this woman, I got 5 kids, I'm losing my benefits. Like it doesn't really get to that point in other countries where you have this amount of kids by this amount of men. I mean, it happens, but not to the level that it happens here in America. Not saying
Okay.
it doesn't happen, but go ahead, Chrissy.
Oh, no, I will say that you do hear of these kind of cases where a woman has different children by different men. It's frowned upon. But yeah, I have heard of stories of, women having different children by different men. Now what I would say, like when it comes to culture, should I say culture as it were, my opinion, if you marry a woman who have other children, you know, you take on a level of responsibility as the head of that household, right?
Well, he said
So
dating. He said dating,
oh,
not marriage.
dating.
Dating,
Well,
yeah.
if you're dating a woman and she have kids, to me, it's like if you care about the woman, you care about the children. So if you coming by and you bring her a burger, I would, if you're thoughtful as a woman, I would look at that. If you're thoughtful, you'd say, okay, I brought even if it's a little candy for the children, just to acknowledge their presence. When you are dating a woman with children, is a different scenario than not. Now, do I say that you take up the whole responsibility of those kids on your head? No. But you do little things to acknowledge their presence. You know what I'm saying? If you're dating a woman with kids, you can't pretend her children don't exist, but that's a dating situation. But as a mother, and that's not the father, you're the primary caretaker, and hopefully the father is still there to be the primary caretaker. A new man coming in is not responsible. Anything he does is at the kindness of his heart. But I wouldn't say that he's responsible, and we got to talk about he's not a man and all that other kind of stuff. That even that kind of language, you have to stop that, because as women, I know women don't want. We ready to cut off somebody's neck if a man told us, you're not a woman if you don't do this. You're not a woman. Women would never accept that kind of rhetoric. So I think we have to stop this. You're not a man if we are not in a position to have a man turn his mouth and tell us we're not a woman if we can't cook. We're not a woman if dot bop bop. We got to stop that language too, because it's not helpful.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right, James Walker, go ahead, James. Hold on, James. I gotta give you your intro, James. We got a new one. Do the bunny hop.
Yeah, you've been around a lot of New Orleans people.
Do the bunny hop.
Do the bunny hop. That was a big dance.
We went to Sugar Bowl, and this was 2002 in New Orleans. Sugar Bowl, the state, and that's when that song first came out. We were doing the bunny hop.
Oh man, don't want you in the club.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I've been paying attention to this. This has been all over the YouTube and what have you about this. I'm about to ruffle some people's feathers. But you know what? I'm glad that she did that publicly, because she shed light on something that men, but in particular black men, have always talked about and been called liars about. You see that fiasco that woman put on? The reason a lot of black men, I've been paying attention to their responses, want a soft shoe around that, because that's a video of their mom. Their mom did the same fucking thing that woman did, and they don't want to say anything about it. I'm listening to some of the responses about, well, it's kind of like no. If that was him doing that to her about his other children, we'd be calling them all kind of bitch ass niggas. We'd be talking about, if I have a run into the motherfucker, I'll knock his head off and what have you. The reason a lot of us don't want to call it for what it is, because that's a perfect example of our fucking mama.
Hey, you got a point.
That's
big point.
That's a perfect example. I'm gonna tell you this. Now, I was the only child, and my mama just started talking to me about some things that I had cloudy vision about when I was a kid because she didn't tell me. But I'm just saying this from a place of growing up in New Orleans and watching this. A lot of women that came from the hood, that's how they raised their children. I was listening to one person talk about their cousin and this and that. This situation is different. And it exposed something else. You don't know how those children, them other children, treat that guy. Are they disrespectful to him? Because a lot of us that was fortunate enough to have stepdaddies, our mamas didn't teach us to respect them. Our mamas taught us that he's got to help out because he's with me, but he can't discipline you. Let's talk about that because that all fits in. We don't know how those children are towards that man. Are they disrespectful to him? Does she disrespect that man in front of him? Because if she do it, then they gonna do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Nah, you got a point. Black Lion, go ahead, Black Lion.
Hey, yeah, I saw the videos, and the sad part is this just goes back to show that this is the results of dysfunctionality, especially when politics put into place. Because I remember asking my political teacher, he was a white dude, and he was a lawyer at the time before he became a teacher. And I blatantly asked him after class because I asked uncomfortable questions. It's like, why did they allow these kind of political laws into office, no matter how illogical and corrupted they are? If they make no logical sense, why would they allow them in office? And he told me personally the reason why, like the child support, the alimony, or the way they attack the father, make him pay, knows not his kid, because there's too much money involved in this system. It's too much money. They know. He told me personally, they know these laws are destructive. They are very destructive, but they saw too much profit out of this. There's too much money make on this.
Black Lion, if I can interject. So I pay child support.
Yes.
You know, like I would say probably around, I'm charged to pay child support, I'm charged like 8% in fees alone.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
It's like 8% in fees by the city. I'm charged when I pay child support.
That's a lot of fees.
Exactly.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. It's like 8%.
Exactly. And that's exactly my point. Like I have friends and family members, even some brothers I knew back in my high school who are paying child support. And man, the stories they told me, it is scary. It is sad too. Like I understand, well, I make mistakes. You know, if a kid comes, it happens. But man, the one thing the laws need to do at least make it easier for the men on their side. Because the reality is, you're not like what you say, you pay child support. A lot of my homies want the same thing. They told me you're not treated like a father. You're treated just as a payout. The government. That's why a lot of people say the government is the new father. He's a new daddy. That's the only time the women bow down to.
Yeah,
and the sad part. And the sad part
listen, that's why I said it's not co-parenting, it's tri-parenting.
Exactly. No, you're being nice.
I have a question.
But the sad reality is that the thing is, I was asking him, so it's like, what will it take to stop? So what will it take to stop these laws? He personally said the only way you can stop these laws, child support, alimony, and all this biological father stuff, is to literally get back the stability of the family. Because once you get back the mental stability of the family, like a traditional household, like back in the 60s and everything, that will destroy their profits. That can destroy the political power. Because that's what's bringing the most money off everything. Like when that sister said, like when she got paid $15 in food stamps, he even said, like, that's perfect. That's him saying you get paid for being corrupted, for being a corrupted system. Corruption pays more than being fair and logical. And the sad part is, a lot of women are, especially in our community, it's so entrenched in our culture, thanks to feminism and the dysfunction of Black family because of what the government did. It became so part of our culture, it's then their second nature. And the reality is, the only way this will stop, is either two ways. Either the men find a way to around, regardless of their race, to find ways to change the laws, or if the government start giving women these benefits and start forcing them to make a logical decisions.
That ain't gonna happen. No.
Exactly. It's going either way. It's going to be a harsh reality. It's going to be a harsh choice, because the thing is, it's so far to the point now. Like even like shit, you hear white guys hear about the same issues. It is a hell, and a lot of. And I was asking, why have you guys started a rally started a serious petition against this.
So we can go get shot down in the street? Are you crazy?
Exactly.
I got a question for you.
Hell,
Well,
let's
hold on.
pay child.
Well, hold on one second. Chrissy, go ahead, Chrissy. You got a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is about the whole child, because I'm not familiar with that system. Um, if you and a man and a woman get together, you guys have a child, whatever the situation is. I'm not saying, and there are some cases where the man is not willing to take care of his child, so the woman is forced to go to the court. But in most cases, why can't two adults just come together, sit down, and say, okay, this is let's us talk about an agreement, a financial agreement. We can get it notarized. You just deposit the money in my account, and we kind of leave it open ended, because as children get older, there are more expenses that come up, and we can come back and readjust at another time. Why does it? Is there, maybe there is, I don't know. Is there a legal reason why it should, or it's better to go through the court versus two people sit down and come with their agreement
Because
and
it's
work together like that?
because it's weaponized. It's women who are vindictive. That's their way to get back at you. Chris, I'm gonna tell you a true story. I kid you not. Here in Fulton County. So me and the mother of my child were in child support court one day, right? And so let me tell you how it's set up. So you walk in, like all the women will be on one side of the court, and then all the men will be on the other side of the court. And then to add like this factor into it, like say the men say they have their new boos with them, the new boo will be with the men on the other side as well. So what they do, they call you up like one by one. So they'll call you up. You'll go to like not the judge, like they got like a little lawyer or some shit who does the
The new boo
calculation.
is that's sweet.
Black B,
I said the new boo. Why is she even there? I'm trying to understand
so
what the new.
the new boo is there. Yeah. So one second. So the new boo is there with the man. So they call you up. They'll call you up one by one, and then they'll tell you like, okay, Mr. So and so, this is how much you pay per month. And then if they want to, if the mother wants to make it even harder, she can go after back child support, even if you were paying the child, like even you were paying off the books and still paying for child support. If she wants to, she can go after back child support, because the courts won't recognize it.
So even if he's been giving her money, like, and let's say deposit from, they don't recognize that?
No, they don't. But let me
Oh,
finish, Chris.
wow.
Let me finish. So then, like, say the man owes back child support, right? They will not let that man leave the courtroom until he pays that back child support. So what they'll do, they'll call you like into another little separate room and try to make some payment arrangements. And you technically can't leave that courtroom until you pay that back child support, Chrissy. So I kid you not. So I'm sitting down, the judge or the paralegal, whatever it's called, calls up a couple, right? So they go from the courtroom to this like little breakout room where they go in and talk. And they call each one of them individually. So the man goes in, the man comes out the courtroom, he sits down with all the men, and he was like, yeah, I got to pay this amount and the other. They talk about I need to pay this amount. I didn't gave her, $500 a couple weeks ago for my child. Why she doing this to me? That lady, listen, that woman walked out, confronted that man and his new boo. It was like, yeah, they said you got to pay me $1,000 today. And nigga, I know you ain't got it, so we gonna be here all day. So I kid you not, Chrissy, in the courtroom. I am not exaggerating. Nigga, I know you ain't got it. You got to pay right now. So that's what goes on when you're dealing. And I tell people, because like after my situation, I started asking women, like, hey, is your baby daddy on child support? And they'll be like, no. But what I noticed that was consistent, the men that don't get put on child support are deadbeat dads. Deadbeat dads don't pay child support. They don't go after the deadbeat dads because they know if they go after the deadbeat dad, they might get $10 a month and they ain't worth it. Men who support their children are the ones that get put on child support. It's backwards. The men who don't support their children, they don't get paid. Pookie and Ray Ray ain't getting put on child support.
I have a
Wow.
question. Does anybody know the difference between what the state will pay for one child and what a dad that's paying child support has to pay?
Yes, I do. You want me to answer that?
Go ahead.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I call it child extortion because that's what it is. I pay $600 a month, and the way it goes is when they send you that letter in the mail saying whatever the woman's name is suing you for child support, at least with Texas. When they send you that letter, they're gonna give you a printout of everything you need to bring to court, all your financial records, and believe me, they're gonna dig them up, even though they're telling you to bring them because they already want to see. And basically, once the state get involved, I bought this book called Real Men Stand Up, and it gave you advice on how to deal with this. It was written by a black woman, and basically, when you go in and you see the mediator, because in Texas you see the mediator before you see the judge. This book advises you make a deal with the mediator. So let's just say, like with my son, my youngest son, I had an account at Wells Fargo that I used to send all three of my oldest three children got the same mama. I used to send them money every week. So I had an electronic paper trail to show I had been supporting my son. And I had kept all the insurance cards from all the different places I worked to show he always been insured. Well, the way it goes is they're going to take your total income and then they're going to take a percentage of that. And they're going to tell you based on what you turned in, what they will, the least amount that they would take. That's what the mediator going to tell you. Now, if you think that's too much and you go in front of the judge going to hit you for everything. Now, if you got other children, they take that in consideration, but they really don't. Does that kind of answer what you was asking?
Yes, but then partly. But the other part is, what does the state pay? Like, what does a woman get in welfare? You know, with
all that don't count. Whatever she getting in welfare, don't count.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're a deadbeat dad, or if someone is not paying anything at all, and the state is giving this woman benefits, what are the benefits a woman gets for one child? I mean, you may not know that answer, but I'm saying, I'm wondering what the state is giving this woman to take care of her child, as opposed to what they're asking the dad to pay. And I guess that would depend on how much the dad makes. I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, how the state pay out, I don't know. But as far as with the dad, I can answer that part. With the dad, it just goes by your income and what you turn in. Now, one thing I did find out is if you got a job where you work a lot of overtime, when you go to court, make sure your company only gives you a printout of your straight time. Because if you bring your overtime in and they see all that totaled up, they're going to go based on that. So if you lose that overtime, you're still going to pay that amount of money.
And what's wrong with that?
I'm not an advocate.
What you mean what's wrong with that?
Well,
man,
that's what you make. So,
but overtime is not guaranteed. There was a lot of people making overtime and then that virus hit.
Okay.
So their child support was based on that overtime. Then that virus hit. There's a lot of guys that got stuck paying what they was used to paying with that virus. And their hours got cut. But you're still responsible for that money. That's why that makes
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to get readjusted, from what I heard. It's
man,
hard, especially in the man's favor. That would be like a deduction. It's extremely harder.
Let me explain how this goes.
And Dinah said 8%. That's more than real estate commission. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me tell you.
It's crazy.
Let me tell you something. When you get involved with this stuff and you want to make an adjustment, they make you wait so long and go through so much of a process, you just throw your hands in it.
Yeah, you gotta wait. It's like every 3 years you can ask for
you gotta now,
and you gotta go through it's like starting fresh. Yeah.
Now see what I did was, because I bought that book. Well, my wife bought me that book and I read that book real thorough. I made a deal with the mediator, even though I thought $600 a month was too much money. seeing is I still gotta pay everything else and all the stuff. The state of Texas take your rights automatically. They don't ask you that. In Texas child support 4D court, they tell you that I'm only obligated to my son 30 days a year. And any time other than that, I gotta write his mama a letter, and it's at her discretion. So you can already see I don't get to see it much because I live more than 100 miles away. But basically, if you ever get put in that situation and you guys get to a mediator, once you get in front of the mediator, try and settle it out there. They're gonna give you a printout of what you gotta pay, how long you gotta pay for, and that's basically written in stone. Unless she decides she want to fight for an increase or what have you, it'll be a little bit harder because y'all went through a mediator. Now, if you go to the judge, you'll be like a lot of those guys I seen sitting in there with their head down, crying crocodile tears.
And this is why I say that I'm not saying I don't know if you were married to the other lady or whatever, but this is why sexual discipline is important for our community, right? To me, as a woman, if I don't do the baby mama thing. I don't believe, to me, a child is legacy. And to me, you don't, as a man, you don't deserve, if you're not willing to give me your last name at the very least, you don't deserve a human being to come out of my body. That's just how I think, period.
Well, you live
You
in
deserve to
Jamaica,
live
right?
your life. I live here, I live in America.
Oh, okay. Well,
You deserve to live your life, and they say rest in peace, and they put flowers on your grave, and that's it. So
well, I
I
say
think
this.
we have to change our mentality so we can
Well, I got
avoid a lot of these situations.
the son I
Men and
pay child
women.
support with. I got 3 children with her. He was the youngest. At the same time she went after child support, I was still helping our oldest daughter with college. I'm still paying for that. So it's not that, all this like some baby mama drama type deal. Because we got 3 children together. We got 2 grown children and our son about to turn 17. I've always taken care of my children. It's just that since my oldest 2 moved out of the house, she had to figure it out. That independent, being strong and whatever, telling me to leave, it started catching up with her financially. So she cashed in her insurance policy, which in America is your kid.
Hey, Chrissy, like, so when I was going through the child support process and, listening to the different dockets and the divorces and stuff, you'll be amazed. Like, and Chrissy, the thing is, it's not Shaquisha and Bonquisha. It's and I want to be very careful. It's the educate. James, is your ex-wife, was she college educated?
No.
Okay. But it was like in all these cases, like I was listening to, the judge will ask, because they would be asking for all this money, all this alimony, all this child support. And the judge will ask, do you have a college degree? And so I had a good judge. I got lucky. I had a good judge. He will ask, you got a college degree? They will be like, yeah. He's like, well, why don't you go get a job? So in a lot of the majority of these cases here in Atlanta, the women that was hitting up the men wasn't the Bonquisha and all that. It was the women that was college educated. Hell, the Raphael Warnock, he's going through a child support case right now. His wife is talking about, she wants to go to Harvard and get her PhD. And since she wants to go to Harvard to get her PhD and she's leaving Atlanta, that she wants Raphael Warnock to pay more child support. It's like, what do you
got to do with her?
But Chrissy, that's the stuff that goes on. Like I'm saying, this stuff woke this opened up my eyes. Like what?
And so that means that in the dating stage, we need to be having these conversations. You got to figure out the character of the person that you're with. I mean, you're never going to get it right all the time, but we have to have these conversations early on. What kind of person are you with? What kind of character? You test the person. If you have a little argument and they start blowing up and disrespecting you, that should be the end of the relationship right there. We have to have better discernment. We're going to be in these situations,
Okay. I think my overall comment is I really do believe and I agree with everything that Chrissy said. I agree with every last thing she said. But I really do believe that the main issue in our community is that we're just, a lot of us are just out here having random sex. We don't know who we're connecting with. And we're just getting pregnant, some of us, and having babies. People are out here just randomly having intercourse with people. There's no vetting. People don't know people's last names. It's just a swap meet out here. So I really do believe that that is the main issue in our community. People haven't even had conversations, and now they're talking about child support. So I think that's where we need to, Black men and Black women, sit back and say, hey, is it really critical that I have sex with this person? Do I know this person? Do I even like this person now that I know this person? Like, just these things. And you know what? It's unfortunate, but it's not taught to everybody. But we can look around our community and see where we're failing. That's really the
You know what? You know what? Let me answer that. You know why it's not taught to everybody? Because most of us is raised by our mamas. That's why it's not taught to everybody. I never heard a woman go and tell her son, don't bring a woman home like me. Never heard that. Never heard a woman. I grew up in New Orleans, Central City, the old New Orleans, back when we had all the projects. I never, ever heard a woman tell her son, don't bring home a woman like me. Never.
Watch this, James. Watch this, James. Let me tell you something. I was back home not too long ago. Now, I've done well for myself, as Dynas even knows. So I've been the first one to break a multi-millionaire status in my family. So I was sitting back home and I was talking to my family, right? And I was like watching something on TV, they were. And I was like, man, I got to make sure I move smartly when I'm getting married or when I'm going to have a kid, anything like this, right? And so my mom and my sister said, and they're not from the ghetto. They're fully educated, you understand? So we come from a, suburban area. And they said, what you mean, boy? You supposed to get robbed. And I was like, wait, what you mean? Like, as far as like, if I'm in a relationship, I don't think I should be at a disadvantage. I should be smart about it. And I was like, well, can you clarify for me one more time? Because I might have not heard you right. And they were like, well, if you have a wife and things don't work out, she's supposed to rob you, boy. You're supposed to lose all your money. And I was like, wait, are y'all serious? Because I'm your son and I'm your brother. Talking to my mom and my sister. And they said, you don't understand. You're not a woman. And so from there, I didn't get mad. I just said, duly noted. So I think what Christy said was very important as far as men having the information about being careful, about having that discipline. And, Shazar Ali, NKS, they didn't get far for trying to talk to the other side. But what I would say for men is to be very smart. And definitely when you're having kids in America, I would actually advise don't do it because you don't have the higher ground. You're going to be paddling upstream on that offense. And if it's already done, then like I said, I'm pretty sure some people say, go put yourself on child support. If that be the case before it comes downhill where people get emotions and it can get out of hand. So most definitely you have to be smart about it. And you have to be like, well, look, it doesn't favor me. It's not going to favor me. I'm not going to have the higher ground no matter what the screening is. Once again, the best thing is mitigation, right? I'm not telling people to be abstinent, but I'm just saying, I got boys who say they want to feel the real thing. And I know women who want to feel the real thing also. So we're going to have to, take a knee on that and not feel the real thing in order to be smart about it. And that's how people really go about sexual relations.
I have a scenario for y'all. So this situation.
Let's do this. Hold on. Let me play this video. I want you guys to watch this video real quick, and then we'll get back to the scenarios. Hold on 1 second.
Welcome back. New video that CBS 46 obtained last night may shed more light on an incident from March involving a candidate for the U.S. Senate.
Body cam video shows Reverend Raphael Warnock's interaction with police after his now ex-wife claimed that he ran over her foot. CBS 46's Brittany Edney is investigating and has reaction from both Warnock and his opponent, Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler.
This incident happened back in March, and now just 2 weeks out from the election, Reverend Raphael Warnock is receiving criticism from the GOP party. We've got video from the police response, plus what investigators found.
So I'm like, move, and she won't move, and she's keeping the door open. So I'm like, Chloe, just stay in the car. And I move, and I close my car door, get in the car, and I start to move slightly, thinking she's here.
Clear.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's clear. And I barely move. And all of a sudden she's screaming that I ran over her foot. I don't believe it.
This body cam footage shows Reverend Raphael Warnock speaking with police after a domestic dispute with his now ex-wife, and her account as well.
He didn't even know.
Well, he knew.
He told me. He knew that he ran over your foot.
This man's running for United States Senate, and all he cares about right now is his reputation.
At the time, the estranged couple was in the middle of divorce proceedings. We got the incident report from APD. In it, medical examiners determined his wife's foot was okay. Investigators wrote she was hesitant to show her foot at first, but once she did, they too saw no signs that her foot was ran over. I asked his opponent, Senator Kelly Loeffler, about the video.
Domestic abuse is a serious issue that George.
Gotta be careful. Look at character early. You know, obviously from the evidence, she didn't get her foot run over. Know who you're dealing with. Don't just look at the pretty face and the big behind.
But Chrissy, this is the education. Like I said, when I was
I know education don't mean anything. Apparently,
but that's what they weaponize. I'm educated. I got degree, like Kevin
but
Savage.
that's not character.
PhD. I got a PhD.
That's not character. That don't mean nothing. It really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're going to be a good wife, good husband, good partner. It doesn't mean anything. It means that you can climb up the corporate ladder, but you have to look at the character of the person. As I said, if you get in a little spat with somebody and they're calling you out of your name, and look, relationship should be finished right there. That tell you if you scratch a little deeper, it's going to get worse. If things get really bad, who you going to be dealing with? So it's unfortunate, you know. I'm sure that's very embarrassing for him. You know, obviously she didn't get her foot run over. You know, it's a shame. But
yeah. But the thing is, Chrissy, Chrissy, she's also trying to again get more child support for him because she wants to go to Harvard to get her PhD.
That's a personal problem.
But you gotta understand how the court, like she could literally go to Fulton County Court, file a case, and they will literally have to go through the full process. I mean, to you, it's like that's her problem, but to the court, you know, they got to go through this. So he got to pull all his documents and go through the whole process again, just so she can get more money to go to college.
I wanted to address
I wanted to talk about.
I'm sorry. Oh no, I just wanted to.
The scenario
sorry, go ahead.
was this kind of, you know, this is a situation where it's almost the opposite. It's a relative of mine. At the end of the day, I'll fast forward to the end of the situation. They ended up suing their wife for her retirement. Back up maybe 20 years before that, they were married. The mom was so vested in her job that she had my relative's kids. And when they were born, they were weeks old. She had them going to the babysitter at 6 weeks. I don't even think they were 6 weeks old. They was like 6 weeks old. She was sending the kid to the babysitter because she didn't want to take off work. So at that time, my relative was working as a fireman and he was painting houses on top of being a fireman. So his situation was, you know, in the beginning, he was, you know, the breadwinner, or they were making close to maybe the same amount because she had a job she had been in for probably 20 years as a technical surgical nurse assistant, something. So anyway, he got in situations with substance abuse, and that began to be, you know, kind of get worse and worse as time went on. So they ended up breaking up after about 10 years or so. But what he would do is his income was off the grid, and he would send her, you know, $5,000 here, $6,000 here from these suits that he was dealing with. You know, he was like an advisor. You know, he had a couple of years of law school. So he was sending her these lump sums of money, and it wasn't being recorded. She didn't sue him for child support. But after all this time, and I had advised them against it, you know, in a way, because I thought, well, why should you get her retirement? Because, you know, you've been sending her money, lump sums of money, which she bought a car, she was able to catch her rent, you know. So this money was doing something, but it wasn't steady. And she was taking care of the kids. You know, I would say probably half of the time those kids at that time weren't even 20 years old. So I'm saying at the end of the day, he did end up suing her and getting a part of her retirement. And I'm like, you know, that's kind of the flip side of things.
Yeah, that's a blue moon. That's a once in a blue moon, though. That's not the norm.
No, it's not. But I mean, did he deserve it? The question is he doing the same thing that women who are doing these things that I feel like it's unfair? The situation where, men have been paying these child support off the record, and then they have to pay back child support. I mean, is he kind of, doing the same thing that women who do that do by getting her retirement? What does he do? What did he do to deserve that?
I want to add to that. I remember it was a couple months ago. It was on a Joe Rogan show. I remember Joe Rogan was talking about a guy. There was a white dude from Canada. You think the laws in America are unfair, especially for fathers? It's worse in Canada, especially since they're pro-liberal. He talked about how one of his friends was a surgeon in Canada. That dude, and since the expenses in Canada were so high, the taxes and the expenses were so high, he was a surgeon. He could hardly damn near little to no pay. He couldn't barely afford the child support, and he was in jail most of the time when he was put on child support by his wife. He could hardly afford it at all, damn near at all, and he was put in jail for like a week because he couldn't pay it. And this was in so-called liberal Canada. The only time he was allowed out of jail is when he was doing his surgical rounds because he was desperately needed. After he was done, he'll go. If he couldn't afford it, he'll go back to jail unless the payments came in. He was going through so much psychological distress and damn near almost distress because of the child support and economic issues. He pretty much defected from Canada, left his kids behind because he couldn't handle the stress of child support and the fact that he was going to jail. He couldn't afford it. He was asked, "Would you ever go? What about your children?" And he said, "I will miss them." And he became a U.S. citizen. He said, and he was asked, "What about your children?" He said, "I'll miss them, but I don't miss the hell that system put me through just because I couldn't afford child support." And that's what I'm saying. He was married, but she divorced him, and she took child support. It destroyed him, and the fact that he was in jail and he was a good guy, no problems. But the stress and the hell was too much for him. He had to leave his own country he was born and raised in, and his own kids, because of the way the system screwed him over in the long run.
And he came
and this is the conversation that even people in Canada want to talk about. Like the system itself, it really destroys men.
You sure he wasn't doing surgery on his own self? He left Canada to come here. It ain't no damn better here. Same soup. It's the same soup, just reheated.
No, I agree. But the thing is, compared to Canada and the U.S. is dirt cheap compared to Canada. That's the issue. The taxes and the living arrangements, it's the basic necessities are damn near cost more, even higher than New York City. And that's just the average amount in their country.
Well, I just want to throw something out there.
And then after you, James, we'll pass it to your Moja. But go ahead.
Okay.
James.
I just want to throw something out there to everybody who might come across this. As far as the back child support, if you with a woman 10 years and y'all split up, and you guys make a mutual agreement or you raise your children, whatever you want to do, just make sure you do it with a paper trail. Like I did. Get your children an account and put that money in an account so at least you got something to present. That's what kept me from paying back child support. Because had I not done that, I would have been like $30-something thousand behind. See, because my children mama waited 12 years. She waited till youngest son was turning 14. Before she did that, we had already been split up for about 12 or 13 years. You know what I'm saying? So I just had a paper trail to protect me. So if you have children with a woman, she may not do it today. She may not do it tomorrow. Might be 5 or 10 years from now. Do everything electronically so you got something to back you up in court. Even if they decide to rule against that, at least you got something to protect yourself.
Agreed.
Go ahead, Emoja.
Okay, so I was on the flip side of this coin because I was single, no kids, and I met a guy about 3 years after his divorce, and he had 2 children, a son that was 10 and a daughter that was 6. So we got together, and probably after a year of dating, we cohabitated. So I'll take full accountability for doing things out of order, but he lost his job one year, and so I bought the McDonald's and the Carl's Jr. and the birthday gifts and the Christmas gifts that year. So I stepped in and took that responsibility because his ex-wife was a monster, and he decided to use his savings to keep up on his child support so that she wouldn't take him to court, or so that he wouldn't have to go to court and tell the court that he had a change in his income, because that would have started a whole nother nightmare. Because when I came on the scene, she was just continuously trying to get him in the court, trying to get him arrested. So I would say that one, it's kind of difficult for men and women to be with someone who has children, because you can make all the best plans you think, and you can think you're using all the discernment you can, but you just don't know how things are going to turn out. I didn't expect for him to lose his job, and he didn't either. But I stepped in and maintained the household, because we had them every other summer as well. So had to keep them in camp and all that kind of thing. So it's just very difficult. And I think Black men and all men have got to lobby and get the child support laws changed. With the Roe versus Wade decision, and down at the state level, it's only going to get worse. I have friends in my circle, also women, who had businesses with their new partner, and the business income got caught up with the ex-wife, dragging them into court and trying to get more. And so the business account is frozen. They can't even pay their employees out of their account, because the woman is continuously just being vindictive. So I'm for accountability. I'm for trying to do the best you can about picking the right partner, but I'm also about changing the laws, because it's just got to stop. It's being used as a piggy bank.
But see, Emoja, we need more women like you to speak out. Like, we need more women like you.
I don't mind.
To speak out.
Yeah, our life was a living hell, and I had a professional, and she knew it. She knew my professional standing, so she knew I couldn't reach back at her like I really wanted to. And so she was a professional woman as well. And so it's just vindictive, and the court system is going to get paid no matter what the outcome is. And I think both parties don't realize that. The only one that wins in a court case are the attorneys and the state court. They're going to get their fees no matter the outcome. So I'm here for it. You men step up and do it, and I'll back you.
African communities, go ahead and unmute yourself. African community, unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, brother Daniel. I just want to say, well, yeah, based on my accent, I was born in Africa.
You're real low, like you're going in and out, in and out.
I just mute my TV. So can you hear me right now?
It's not good. Do me a favor, African community, because we really want to hear you. Leave the chat and come back in. Hold on, let me. All right, JV, go ahead, JV. Unmute yourself.
Well, no. So, I mean, I just wanted to comment on a couple of things that I heard earlier with the case. I mean, I'll be clear. I saw the video. I saw the video of the chick with the McDonald's and stuff like that, and I thought it was utterly disgusting, to be honest, because I'm from Jamaica, same as Chrissy on the panel. So I kind of have similar experiences to kind of seeing it from both like back home and also living over here. With just, I mean, the discontent with whatever you would supply for your kids. Because, I mean, I'm going to bring it back to like a personal example. Like when I was growing up, yeah, your dad probably wasn't like there with the emotional stuff. But in regards to what we needed for school, like buying books and like getting us, taxis and stuff at school and getting us situated so we can have an education, stuff like that.
Hey Jay, we lost you, brother. We lost you. All right, Chrissy, I think you wanted to add something.
Oh, there was a guy, I think his name was Observing or something like that from before. He was saying that, telling men not to have kids in America because it doesn't favor you. To me, there's nothing wrong with having children in America. You just have to be careful about who you choose. I don't think anyone should be looking for a system to favor you, because then you're doing the same thing that these toxic women are doing. You're looking for a system to favor you. You want a system that is going to be fair to both parties. You want a logical system. You want a system that is going to be equal and going to be reasonable. That's what I think. So the whole idea of having the upper hand, that's the same toxic mentality that some of the women that we're talking about have. So I don't think that's good either. You know what I'm saying?
But what's interesting is that this system, and you can use this as an example of how the system is against African Americans, because it does favor the women. It is not fair. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not fair.
It's
I
not
do
a
see
fair
that.
system. And overall, this system in this country is not fair to us. It's against us.
And that's why we have to be more organized. We have to be more disciplined as people. It's not sitting and saying it's not fair. It's not going to change. We have to change. You know, we have to change how we deal with each other. We'll have to change how we make decisions. As I said, to me as a woman, and I will tell any young girl, do not have a child for a man who will not give you his last name. He don't deserve legacy. That's how I see it. He deserves to live his life, and they put flowers on the grave, and you were here and now you're gone. A child is a legacy. It's a human being. It changes your body, it changes your life, etc. So we have to choose things different. And a man should not be having unprotected sex with a woman who you wouldn't want to be the mother of your child either, because condoms can burst. And even I think just what Black Beauty was saying, all this frivolous sex is the problem. Men, y'all are part of the problem too. Because a lot of y'all, when y'all are dating women, you don't want to wait to have sex. You want to have sex early on in the relationship or you're going to bounce. But sex is a spiritual act. It's not just a physical act. So you should know a person before you're having this spiritual connection with them. It's not just a physical thing. It's a spiritual swap, a spiritual thing. You know what I'm saying? So y'all also have to show discipline and be willing to wait and get to know a woman before you push for sex. Because when you
the first
sex,
thing she
people
want,
babies.
and the first thing she want to ask you when you tell her, all right, you gonna wait. That's all you get. That's the first thing gonna come out of her mouth.
Then that you don't leave her
That is
alone.
gonna be the first
That
thing
is
gonna
not
come
the
out of her
woman you
mouth.
want to deal with. That's the woman that years down the line gonna give you hell. She's gonna have 2, 3 different kids or 4 or 5 different kids by different men. That's not that's a great measure. So that you cut her off. To me, there's so many women. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I want to say one more thing, and then I'm gonna jump off here because I'm about to go get this trailer loaded. I hear what you say about the whole marrying thing. The problem is, how can you tell a girl that when she's being taught to be against marriage? I don't know if you guys heard about the little, I think she was 10-year-old little girl who said she wanted to have 2 children when she get older, but she don't want to get married because that's going to stop her from child support. It's kind of hard to tell somebody, see, that's the kind of stuff they're being taught. They're being taught this. How can you tell your son, because the dating pool for our children is different than it is for us. How can you tell your son, if you don't give her last name, don't give her a child, when a good portion of the women that's in a dating pool for him being told don't get married at all? So that's being said, y'all be safe out there.
I hear you. I would say respond to that. Yeah, yes, I'm sure the dating pool, I know it's not the best. At the end of the day, you guys still have to me, it's unfair, but you guys still have a numbers advantage. There are more women than men. So you can filter through all the garbage women and find a good woman. If this one is acting crazy, cut her off. Don't give her a second chance. Don't call her back, block her. You be one of those men who no nonsense. Any woman dealing with you, she know, oh, this dude is no nonsense. If I talk out of turn to him, he's done with me. He cut me off like a light switch and keep it moving. And find somebody decent.
I agree with you, Chrissy, but I want to add to the
Well,
education.
real quick, Aurora Martinez, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say, a lot of stuff.
And Aurora, there's a lot of background noise. I don't know if it's the AC or what it is, Aurora. It's a lot of background noise.
Give me one minute.
All right, go ahead, Alan.
Hey, what I wanted to say was that, Kevin Samuels said the exact same thing that Chrissy's saying. Marry before you carry. And he was utterly chastised by the Black community for actually telling people the actual truth. I don't know how many times you'd watch his videos and a woman would come in and say that, I didn't want to marry him. And Kevin Samuels would ask him, well, why don't you want to marry him? and stuff like that. He said, well, he wasn't good enough. He didn't have the job. He didn't have this and that. He says, but he was good enough to have a baby with. He was good enough to give him the greatest honor a woman can give to a man. Again, a lot of this is the women, because quite frankly, as Kevin Samuels would say, prior to this Roe versus Wade being taken out, there's not a child in America that's born that was not born of the choice of the mother. Not one. It was always their choice whether or not to have the child or not. So there are choices that women are making in all their independence and freedom, where they want children, but they don't want the men. And they feel that's liberation. And then when they have to deal with the consequences of their liberation, so-called, then they want to cry foul as if the men are the ones who are to blame. No, you decided to give the man a child, right? And so now that is the consequence, because it's, as you said, it's your right and your body. You get to choose, and the man doesn't.
All right, go ahead, Aurora Martinez.
Yes, I just want to say, I think a lot of us are messed up. I think a lot of us, like, it doesn't have to be man or woman. There are men looking for women who can help them. There are women looking for men who can help them. You know, I dated guys who are looking for me to help them because they have children. And there are women, like I had older friends who had kids. They made the mistake of having kids for the wrong men. So now the advice that they used to give me is that, no, they have to try to find a man who will take them and their kids, or a man who love children, who can take them and their kids, who can help them out, kind of need help. Enough people need help, especially when you have kids. Whenever you have kids, you're always in need of help. So they have women who looking for men. Come, my brother, he met a lot of women who like him, but when he start to like questioning them where their head is and what they're gonna bring to the table, they talk about their 4 kids or their 5 kids, and they're looking for a man who will accept them with their children. So my thing is that we have to be careful who we bring into our life. We have to try to be, like, before we rush into anything deep with anyone, we have to try, like, just see what they can bring to the table. We have to try to get to know them before we just get too deep with them, because you don't know what kind of agenda or intention people are bringing to the relationship. That's what I want to say.
All right, go ahead. Well, go ahead, Shay. Shah. Is it Shay? Is it Shah? What is?
Yeah,
Shay.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's see, where were we at? We're talking about, damn, time went on. I got a delivery. I lost my thought. Go ahead, somebody else, until I get my thought back. Somebody else. Sorry about that, y'all.
Well, oftentimes, what I was going to say is, oftentimes you don't know who you're married to until you marry them. People do change up. People put their representative out there for you to deal with. And if you get married too quickly, and if you move things along too quickly, as many people often do, you will be married to somebody who you didn't even know, and it certainly wasn't the person that you were introduced to. So, when people say be careful, you do need to be careful. But we are very sophisticated out here in this dating game, and people will act the way they want to act, the way they need to act in order to get you. But then when once they get a morsel of wedding cake, they change it up.
That's true too. That's true.
All right, links in the chat. Jackie, you want to add to this? Jackie?
I did have something to say, but I forgot.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Aurora Martinez.
Yeah, no, that's all I was saying. We don't know who is who. We don't know people's agenda. We don't know the intention. Everybody come with a disguise. I'm sorry, because I end up dating people. I wasn't into men with children. I wasn't. But then I say, you know what? Sometimes people are different. But then again, I realized they want help too. Just like a woman want help, they want help. And I tried, but I realized that I can't carry on nobody baggage. I cannot help carry anyone cross. I'm going to carry my own cross, because dating the men with children, my brother told me, because he did it before. He did it for 17 years, and he realized that the woman he married, she dropped all the baggage, all the load on him. But he was so in love with her that he carried it. But later on in life, he realized, like, he wished he wasn't there, because the money he lost, the time he put, like, he wished he didn't do it. but he said he did it because he was in love with her. So he was practically, I guess, lost. So he was warning me, be careful when you get into a certain situation, you have to like just, how should I say, have your eyes open and vet them out good, because you don't know who is who and you don't know what they're bringing to you. So me personally, I didn't take his advice. So I decided, you know what, people different, everybody, but I tried it myself. And my first husband didn't tell me he owed X amount of child support. He didn't tell me that. He said he's paying it, but he didn't owe it. Eventually the bank started sending me papers that certain money going to come out of our account towards this. I was like, oh no. So I brought it to his notice. He owed student loan. So he was looking for help. I got out of that. I got out because I didn't marry anyone to come drop their load on me. This is how I think now. It's not about nothing really emotional. It's about what you bring to the table. Because guys told me in the past, what are you bringing to the table? You know, what am I bringing? I used to think that was selfish, but no, it's not selfish. You know what people bring? Because people coming to use you sometimes, and then coming for you to help make their life easy and smooth. I am going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not selfish.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it.
So I have a question, because the things that we're talking about, right? We're talking about, the love relationships. And it seemed to me, unfortunately, when it comes to anything bad, it seems like we always are number one, right? Whether it's health indicators, education, crime, disease, whatever, and apparently bad relationships too. It just seemed like as Black people, we're at the top. So my question would be to somebody from Africa, or Dynast, like what are we not doing, or what is the difference between our relationships and relationships in Africa? Because they have a higher marriage rate, they have a lower divorce rate. Is it what are they doing? And all these different scenarios, I know a lot of this stuff is not going on. Like, the woman got the attitude and the men drop deadbeat. What are we not doing? What's wrong with us to a degree that is not happening in their society? What they have in place, we don't have in place. So maybe that's what we got to figure out.
So Chris, so I have a friend that got divorced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when he got divorced, I asked a simple question. I said, "Hey, your in-laws, when you guys decided to get divorced, did they get involved to try to stop it or just give some advice?" He said, "No, they didn't care." I got another friend here, but he's in America. I have another friend here in America. He said that when his brother divorced his wife, his brother's father got involved, met with the ex-wife, and said, "Look, I'm gonna make sure you're okay. Child support payments will be on time. I'm gonna make sure you're okay. There's no need for you to go to the court."
Mm-hmm.
So in Africa, there's elders that can get involved and give guidance, and then also too, there isn't a court system that people can weaponize versus here in America.
Excellent point. Excellent point. I kind of feel that is it. I can say that there are people in this country who have great in-laws who try to intervene, who try to help. But when people have this Western independent mindset, where they believe in women being independent and feminism takes place, that is the major difference, in my opinion. You have a group of people who do not heed their families. Their families are not involved with their decision making for a mate, and you have people who believe that they don't need a man, or they don't want a man, but they want to be married because they want a special day. We have our priorities all screwed up, and also, I'm going to say this: we tend to hop in the sack in the bed too quickly in our society, and because we do that, we end up with mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that's how we end up with a lot of these problems. If we eliminated all the crazy, wild sex that people were having, we could most of these problems would not be taking place. People could date, find out who the person is, and move on. But because we prioritize sex over getting to know somebody, we end up in a lot of situations that we shouldn't be in, because the sex is so good, but the relationship and how you relate and your finances and all that other stuff are not compatible.
Right. So I remember what I was going to say, and it's segues from what you're saying, Alan, which is talking about sex education for the young folks. So I think that in that, when I was involved in HIV education, one of the things that was kind of coming out as time went on was that both parties should be responsible for protecting each other, for protecting themselves, but it's always on you to make sure that you have protection, and this was more for the male, but this has to be transposed to the female in this situation. And this is just my opinion that, for example, if the woman protects herself during sex from contracting STDs, I guess that might be the same thing, that she will ensure that if his condom breaks, or you just get passionate and he doesn't even put a condom on, and it's you the woman has protection, because at the end of the day, she's going to carry that child. The guy is not going to carry that child, so it's even more on her to be protected, even though we should be teaching both male and females, young folks, that they're both equally responsible. Still, that's the situation of nature in itself. So if the woman is at the end of the day responsible, more so than even the man, it's more important that the woman be responsible for this sexual protecting themselves, contraception. And
All
that
right.
would prevent a lot of unwanted pregnancies, and time to get to know that person to see if this is somebody you want to bring your ancestors through. Boom.
Guys, links in the chat room if you want to call in and after the conversation. Links in the chat room. Also, please hit the like button. Do me a favor. Again, please hit that like button as you come in. I greatly appreciate it. And I think the thing is, it's only going to get worse, to be honest, with you guys, the rate we're going. Like, I just see it getting worse. No, but
I think there needs to be a real conversation in our community about legacy. And as I'm living here in Africa, I realize that is something that every family has intact, whether they're just a small middle class family or whether they're a big banking family. Like, they understand how legacy is applied. And that's something that we are failing to do in the Caribbean, and we're failing to do it in the United States. Definitely.
I agree.
I concur with that too. I'm going to leave, guys. Dynast, thanks. This was my first time in your room, and I had a chance to speak with you through your proxy on your Facebook. I like your Ifa shirt and your voodoo shirt. So I'll be back to have some conversation. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, guys, if you want to call in, click on the link. Brandon, if you want to call in, you can call in, Brandon, if you want to. I'll take you off a timeout, Brandon, if you want to call in, if you're watching.
Oh, Lord. No, again, one thing that made me think about this in terms of, putting sex and getting it in too quickly was I see a lot of interracial couples who end up, finding out later on that their spouse is racist. And, and you've had children with the person, you've done everything with the person, but you never had a conversation about their racial views, given that you are, a person of color who is dating a white person. It just made it loud and clear to me that, wow, we're not having any conversations at all. We're just, swiping left and swiping right, hopping in the sack with each other, and, and hoping for the best. And that's just not the way you do things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. And not to make it racial, we do that with each other, whether it be black men and black women. All people are doing that. And so our divorce rates are a result of that. Do you realize that people are having better success with arranged marriages in terms of having long range lasting marriages than it is doing it the way we do it in the West.
Yeah.
You know, that because again, with an arranged marriage, you know, one thing is for certain, your family has to be involved because they get a chance to pick.
And I think also with the cultures with the arranged marriage versus outside of that, there's a sense of duty, right? There's a sense of you know, we all want to be happy, of course. You don't want to be with a toxic person. But outside of, let's say, a toxic person, you know, when it's not as exciting and the love doesn't feel, there's still a sense of duty, a duty of being a wife and a mother, a duty of being a husband and being a father. There's a duty to the family, especially when children are produced, where that sense of duty is not in the West. It's kind of like do what you feel, just like when it comes to education. You know, study what you love, find what you love versus what is practical. You know, so I think that mindset, that just follow the love bug mindset, is also very destructive too, because people fall in and out of love, you know, versus there kind of being a constant where, you know, despite how I may feel over time, because love kind of ebbs and flows, I have a sense of duty to my family, my internal family that I create, and then the external family. But both parties have to be on that mindset. You got one person who has a sense of duty and the other, it's not going to work. So I think that's it too.
Well, I think in the West, it almost is beneficial to have this sort of mindset because if you are of the ilk of having duty and knowing your role, and that's going to put half of the workforce at home taking care of children. So if you understand the motivations of capitalism and corporate profiteering, then you understand that it benefits corporations for me, you, my daughter, my son, and everyone to go. So that's really what's going on. There's a breakdown of family within the society in the West across Black and white people, all people, because essentially they want to make the most profit off the country, and that requires me and you to have to work 50-hour work weeks. So when do I get to be a mother and sit back and understand my role and be comfortable and raise children when I have to run back to work? And now they've made it so that, okay, you don't have to necessarily go into the building, but we'll tag the laptop on you. So even though you have your laptop job, okay, that's wonderful. But think about just the practicality of it from a day to day. Your baby's crying and you're trying to run a scrum meeting. How does that work?
Not easy.
So, I mean, that's really what it seems like to me. It seems like it doesn't benefit America for people to have that mindset any longer because they're looking to up the ante on production and compete with China. That's
And
how
that
it
was
seems to me.
that was the real reason behind pushing feminism, because all these women were at home, like, we got to get these women to work, you know? So they start pumping this, be independent, you don't need a man, get your own money narrative that has really turned toxic. It went from like just having the opportunity to be an astronaut if you want to be an astronaut to now talking about you don't need, I've never heard a heterosexual man say he don't need a woman, you know? So I think that, you know, we have to really kind of look at the things that we're allowing to come into our subconscious and shape our thoughts and shape our culture and shape how we deal with each other, because it doesn't benefit us. As you said, it benefits America, the American beast system. So you got to look at that. And I'm just curious, like, women who say they don't need a man and independent, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't, what does that mean? I don't understand. Don't people need people? I don't get it.
Well, they have human nature mixed up. They don't understand that men have a fundamental need to be needed, right?
As women do.
And women, but they've gone into this ideology that says you need to want a man. I want you, but I don't need you. And what you're basically telling the man is, I don't want you around. I don't need you around. I don't want you around. You don't serve any purpose to me. And so when men hear that message, right, unbeknownst to a lot of women, that kind of absolves them of their duty. Right, because now I don't owe you anything because you don't need me. You said so.
Right. But I don't hear men, even in the current climate, saying they don't need women. We have to pay attention to the things that we say. And I can't imagine, I don't know any woman who would be with a man who says, I don't need no woman, because she's like, okay, he's probably gay. Like, he don't need no woman. What man says that?
Chrissy, can you hear me, Chrissy? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I say
Chrissy, listen, they got whole, excuse my language, we got the elder, Lori. We got a Lori, Miss Ibarra. But listen, and excuse my language, I'm about to cuss. Miss Chrissy, they got boss, listen, they got boss up, boss bitches. I don't need no man brunches. They doing brunches. I'm a boss bitch.
It's
brunch.
hard. It's so silly.
Wow.
Silly to me when I see. So I got in trouble with my girlfriends about 4 years ago because I said to one of the girlfriends, we were at a birthday dinner. It was 4 or 5 of us at a table, and I said to one of my homegirls, I said, "Girl, we look stupid as fuck. Why are we sitting at this table together? Why don't we go to the bar and spread out?" Now it got to the whole group. And it's like, I'm the bad person. Well, listen, I don't come to dinner to stare at y'all bitches' makeup. I don't care. I don't honestly, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why the women in our community feel like they need to click up and packs and go out.
I think it's a security blanket.
It's crazy.
All right, let's do this. Let's do Sim Police. Okay, go ahead, Aurora. We're gonna pass the Sim Police. Then we're gonna let Missy Barr close us out. But Aurora, go ahead.
I have a question. Okay, so when people go on date, right? Like if I go on a date, because sometimes before I marry my husband, I write down a list of things that I'm looking for in a man, and a list of things that I don't want. I don't, My thing is this. Okay, when you go on a date, a woman can ask a man like, what is he bringing to the table, right? It doesn't have to be money, Like we can ask those questions too, right? Like we can ask a lot of questions as in, what are you bringing to the table? Things like that, Because to me, that's really important. And then we can get into his head to see like where his mind is. Because with my husband, I married him because number one, he don't have no kids. Number two, he's hardworking and he can hold a job. And number three, he could help me, he could help me along the way in my life. That's why I married my husband, because he have a heart. In the past, I dated, yes, but I married once before, but the guy who I married, he was more looking for help. Like, he had a lot of financial he had a lot of bills to pay, so he was looking for a woman, I guess, who can bring finance to the table. So I thought he liked me, I like him, but he didn't tell me the whole 100 that he had this, he owed this, he just tell me peace, so we could ask questions like that, right? What you bringing to the table, right? Because guys asked me that before, and I used to find it very insulting because I thought I was bringing myself and I'm bringing my independence. So we can ask those questions, right? What you bring to the table as a woman? Does it sound harsh?
No, I don't think we're allowed to ask that. I don't think so. I think only the men are allowed to ask that, it seems.
No, I'm sorry, I don't believe in that because I'm independent, but I'm a go-getter and I have a heart. Like I will go to the end of the river for you. That's the person I am. But I don't want anyone to think they're gonna come into my space and think that she easy. Because to be honest, if they come, they'll realize, oh, it's not so. So I do ask, what are you bringing to the table? Because I need to know up front. And if they don't bring what they say they're gonna bring, I'm sorry, you have to go.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Sim Police, go ahead, Sim Police.
First things first, my brother. Appreciate you for bringing me, allowing me to come back on your platform. Appreciate you what you're doing with your tours and what your documentary that's coming through and all the videos that you're showing about Africa and different countries over there, showing Black people that there is another option besides fuck nigga and hood bitch and boss bitch and won't he do it and fix it Jesus and blessed by the best and wait for the Lord and listen to a rich nigga read the scriptures every Sunday. I'm glad that you're showing a different light. Now, just the same way as I talk about as 85%, when I say 85%, 15%, a lot of females don't feel like they belong in that 15, at that 85 and 15%. It just is shocking that our Black women, matter of fact, not our Black women, the government, the zaddies women, you know what I'm saying, that think that they're separated from us. You get what I'm saying? Now, I understand about how the Black community is. I understand what the Democrat Party is doing. You know what I'm saying? But the Black woman is a willing participant in this. You get what I'm saying? She's a willing participant. She's standing right up, just like that little meme that's going on Instagram or social media, to be like, I volunteer. I volunteer tribute. I volunteer tribute to kiss the white man's ass. I volunteer tribute to be a guard dog for white supremacy. I volunteer as tribute to be the white hand of white supremacy. You get what I'm saying? So for our community, which is the only community that black women can try to shame a black man into participating or supporting a super ultra mega thought lifestyle or a super ultra mega thought lifestyle and training, or unless you're a real man. I tell brothers all the time, as soon as a black woman start talking about what a real man is, you need to put your hand on your wallet and you need to start looking over your shoulders. You get what I'm saying? Because nothing that they tell you about being a real man has to do with you. It got everything that you would do, being a simp daddy, you know what I'm saying? You being a bodyguard, you know what I'm saying, for her, for you to fight against her, for baby daddies. 9 out of 10, they got 3 baby daddies. They got 3 kids by 6 baby daddies. So they want you to fight all of them. They want you to pay for their 36-inch yaki, Peruvian wavy, all that. So now you come to the situation about the McDonald's. See, when we was on the show yesterday, when I was the other day, and I was talking about the EBT relationship, everybody thought I was disrespectful. Everybody thought I was the bad guy when I was talking about EBT, food stamps, relationship, struggle, love. You get what I'm saying? But I'm the bad guy. But now you see this video of this woman trying to push a narrative, and then with no shame. That's one of the biggest things. A lot of people we don't talk about the shame with black females. It's no shame. She had no problem putting that video out saying that, I don't get my food stamps to the 7th. I don't get my EBT. She had, I'm talking about that was the only time she spoke correct English. You can hear all the words coming out her mouth. When she started talking about white zaddies, the government EBT card, you know what I'm saying? She had no problem letting you know that it come on the 7th. But at the same time, she was 100% wrong, and she got a bunch of kids. He was wrong also. You get what I'm saying? Because only thing that he was wrong about was not pulling his child to the side. You get what I'm saying? That's the thing that he was wrong about. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come over there and bring some food or whatever, that he shouldn't do that, because females with especially hood booger, wild hyena, hood rat from Southeast DC, you showing up at a female's house every day to bring your son some food, she gonna equate that until you want to smell that box. You want to run that pussy pun the river. You get what I'm saying? I don't care what your intentions are, black men. If you show up at your baby mama house every day to give out some McDonald's, she gonna think you want to eat that box from the back, regardless of what. And you look bad as a man showing up over there every day. You can go over there and pick up your son, run him through, get some of that nasty cardboard tasting McDonald's that kids love at an early age, so they can play with the little toy in the car, and they're gonna tear up on the way home anyway. But this is the point that we're living in. It is no shame, it is no accountability, and any woman that sit up and think that they can be the same as a man is impossible. So it's the same way, it's the double standards. It's the same way that a woman can get in a club free. It's the same way that a woman, you're supposed to show respect and give your seat to a woman. It's double standards that work for women that don't work for men at all. I got to pay $50 to get in the club. If I got on tennis shoes, I got to pay $100. But a woman can walk to the club in a nightgown on and some beauty supply flip-flops on, you know what I'm saying? And she can get everything. She can get everything for free. Men don't complain about that. So you got black females sitting up here want to talk and act try to be equal as a man like me, hustle smart, aka high value Tyrone, aka reform street nigga. I love to see females talking that independent talk, so I can bring them to the house, I can fatten them up with some cheap Chinese food, then I can slaughter their ass, you know what I'm saying, and sit them back out there so they can be independent woman, you know what I'm saying, being manly and being mad niggerish with goddamn big shoulders and big necks, looking like Stacey Abrams, big booger wolf Stacey Abrams looking ass, wearing leggings with your thighs scrubbing and obese kneecaps and your ankle swelling. I love that type. You get what I'm saying? See, it's the simps. It's the simps out here that make it just as bad, because you got these baby mama terrorists. You got these I say it again, these baby mama terrorists that will sit up there and do anything to make a black man look bad. And because the Democratic plantation, aka white zaddy, you know what I'm saying, will sit up there and put the black woman on the pedestal, the Democrat Party already know the black race is going down. That's why Jim Crow Joe Biden, we did it, Joe, told the black caucus that y'all need to focus on the Latinos, because they are who up next. You know what I'm saying? But hey, just like anybody, I understand the white zaddy is giving black women jobs. You know what I'm saying? So black women, they show up to work for white zaddy. They give him their best. Her clothes is pressed. She's ironed. Her weave is laid. Her weave ain't laid to the side. You know what I'm saying? It's straight in the middle. The part ain't over there by her right earlobe or nothing. You get what I'm saying? Her makeup is on good. Her breath smelling good, and she's sitting there attentive. But then soon as she get off work, is where the next black man or whoever else get in my face, everybody else gonna get that. So what I'm saying is that the no shame and the no accountability and the simps, the simp enforcers, that's what they are. They simp enforcers sit up here want to chase ass and chase sex so much. You get what I'm saying? That we got black men that are sitting up here having sex with black women on the first day that they meet. No condom, no birth control, ski all up in the club, beat the box all up and skeet up in it again just to make sure you didn't miss a spot, and then you have no intentions on having a baby. So when the female calling you sitting up there with the Scooby-Doo face, you like, huh? And then she like, huh? Then you like, what the fuck? They like, bitch, I don't even like you. I don't know you. It was a one-night stand. Exactly. So hold on, this is the last part. Now here come the conversation of why. So, but if you the hell know, if you don't want to be with me, why would you do this? So now here come the why. And at the end of the day, the woman is always gonna win that why argument, because she have to carry the baby, and she gets to put you on child support. She gets to take your license. She get to terrorize you for 18 years. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, black men got to be responsible. But at the end of the day, the female is left with the kids. And like I tell y'all all the time, that black kids don't thrive under single black females. They survive. So that's why most men and most women, when they get a chance to get away from that single black female baby mama terrorist, they don't come back unless it's Soul Food Sunday or it's Thanksgiving. But I pass the mic.
Hey, Missy Barr, go ahead. We'll pass the opportunity. Go ahead.
Well, high vibration to everyone. I trust that all of you are doing well. Ekason, my brother.
Ekason, ṣé àlàáfíà ni o?
Àlàáfíà ni gbogbo wa wà o. Àlàáfíà la wà.
Àlàáfíà ni o.
So again, you've always been doing well, right? But these are very important conversations lately, honestly. Maybe there is a reason why there's somebody somewhere needs to hear some of this conversation, right? Let me start with the brother that went to the lady's house to give the child a McDonald's, right? First of all, the African way of doing it is, once you know she has more than one child, you have to come there with more than one McDonald's. First of all, I don't even know people still eat McDonald's. I always say it, even though I've seen it everywhere. McDonald's is a terrible, terrible feed to feed a black child, right? For anybody to eat, let alone us, we should not be supporting them. In fact, if there was ever a time to defund, let's just go ahead and defund McDonald's and all these other company. But nonetheless, once he show up there, right, as a black man, and I'm talking about as a black man, original man, the father of civilization, you are more than just your immediate son, father. I'm talking about African center. But we live in a very selfish society.
Laura, even if they aren't together.
No. I'm coming somewhere. I'm gonna get to where you're going. Believe me, I support the brother, but I'm getting somewhere.
Okay, go ahead.
Many of you are asking about what is an African way of doing things. So I'm coming from Africa Center. Because the brother saw that lady. I don't know if his child is the last one or the first one. So he saw her before he lay down with her, right? So the result is what it is. So when you show up there as I'm talking about some original man, right? You show up there with more than one, but everybody has said it. The brother may not have that much money. Maybe that's all he has, right? So he show up there. She should have at least allowed the little baby to take the food from his father and then take that man aside and say, please don't do this again. When you're coming, please make sure you bring more. I would have advised her to do that, right? But nonetheless, the man came to see his son or his daughter. I think it was his son. You should have allowed him to give the child the food. My understanding was she took that food and threw it down, something like that. Already you are exhibiting disrespect and violence in front of those children, right? Now, this is the situation though in this country where this country says, you black woman, you don't need a man, right? So you don't need a man, but you're still sleeping with one. Unless you're sleeping with dogs, you are sleeping with a man, which means you're going to keep having different child, in most cases, having different baby daddies. Now you want a man that you don't see fit. You don't want to marry this guy. You don't want him to be responsible, but you also want him to take care of the rest of your other children. It seems to me like the black society in this country are getting life twisted, right? But we talk about when a woman can claim that she's a single parent. If you're laying down with somebody and it takes you being laying down with somebody to be able to have a child, you are in no way single. You see the disrespect? See how these people get us against each other. And I think the black community in this country need to really, really start paying attention. So before the civil rights, black people are together. In fact, some people are in the same house generation after generation. Immediately after the civil rights, all the way to the 70s when they started giving you welfare, now you can't have the black man in the house anymore because the black man is the authority of the house. The mother is the nurturer, right? The black man is the provider. In any society, it is the man that provides. It is the man that protects. So they get you to say, you don't need a black man, but you still go out there and sleep with one and have a baby, right? Or you have multiple children. So they give you a little bit of money. Now you as a black woman, since they already removed the man of the house, so now they create obstacle. They bring the drugs into the community, right? The 80s, late 70s, late 80s. So you're beginning to see the effect of the drugs affecting the black community, right? After so many starvation of resources and all these things, now we are now going towards, what do you call it, the child support, right? So I was married, right? And at some point, we filed for divorce. It was after that divorce, then I filed for child support. Just like the brother said the first time, I knew that my husband at this time was making a lot of money. I knew what he was making, right? I never, when we went to court, I didn't even bother to be asking, telling them everything that he makes. I didn't discuss it in court. I knew what he was making. He knows that I knew what he was making, right? We're not fighting. It's just for me that we get everything straight up legally, and keep it moving. Because at some point, I expect him to still be in a relationship, right? So we went to court and we talked to the mediator. He only brought one of his paycheck, right? This is a person, as of that time, I think he was already making what? Well over $25 an hour as of that time. Right now, he's making almost $500,000 a year, right? So as of that time, I knew what he was making. I did not say a single word. Based on what he brought that I saw, the mediator went ahead and they said, okay, this is how much we're going to be making. And I told him, I said, okay, just to make it easy for you and I'm going to take you to your job. And he told me which job to take you to. I took you to the job. And from that day on, the money continued to continue. Fast forward, when I left the state of California to move over to the state, Maryland, my son went to his dad, living with his dad. But do you know that man continued to pay that child support to me? He could have at any time say, please get over here. I'm not paying that shit no more. My son is with me. He continued to pay that money to me until my son was turned 18. Now, guess what I did? So when my son turned 18, this is what I did. He said, so, Bryant is 18, so don't you think it's time for us to stop paying? It's time for me to stop paying child support. I said, yes, it's time for you to stop paying. But I gave him the day that it was going to stop. Right? But one of the things that I did not do, decision that was made that day in front of that mediator was the last time I went to court based on child support. That was it. Not only did I do that, I did not interrupt, disrespect his relationship that he has outside. In fact, I make it my personal business not to know about his private part. He's a responsible man, so I'd never have to even do that, right? And he continued taking care of his son and then the rest of the children that he had, okay? There is nothing wrong in saying that two people come together when the relationship is no longer working. Come together, end the relationship. If you feel like it's better for you to put the information, give the information to his job because it will be much easier for you, have the conversation. Right? I'm telling
Mama Ibarra.
Yeah.
Most of these people are not in relationships. That's the thing. Most of them are not in relationships. That's the thing. You were married. You had a right. And he acknowledged that and he respected you. But the majority of these people that are having these babies and this child support, they don't know each other. They went to the club, they had sex that night, and they had a baby. That was it.
And that is the devastating part of it for us as Black people, right? Because it's not about you having that sex one time. It's a lifetime of responsibility that you have to deal with, right? First of all, going to a club, I went to a club. I'm sure majority of people can say they've been there before. But going to a club to dance is one thing. Getting down with a non-owner individual is another thing. You have to deal with the responsibilities a lifetime. So now you're seeing the result, right? I remember when I first came to the US, right? When I first came back to the US, my sister and I, and we were going through, it was hard to get a job and other things. Do you know people were giving us advice to go ahead and have children so that we can go and get welfare from the government? That was the advice. They say, well, you're an American. They say,
wow.
They say you're an American citizen. Why can't you just go ahead and have a baby and they will give you... Up until then, I have never heard that before in my entire life, because in Nigeria particularly, and I'm sure the same thing in Africa, young girls look forward to the time that they're going to get married, right? In fact, the moment you start reaching a certain age, your mother start buying you the different dishes that you're going to use to dress up your house, right? There is an expectation that when you get married, it used to be that there's an expectation that when you get married, you still need to be a virgin. Nobody is depriving you of enjoying your life. You can enjoy your life without being the neighborhood dogs, right? For lack of a better word. Because
You say the neighborhood dogs?
yes.
Oh, I like, ma'am. Let me tell you something.
No.
I salute you. I like that.
No.
I like that. Neighborhood dogs. I love that. I love that.
Listen to this. Listen to this. I mean, I want everybody in the chat that will hear this and that will continue to hear this. I'm saying this out of love. I'm saying this because we as Black people, we don't know who we are. If we know the blessing and the working miracle that we are, you will consider your body as a temple, right? That if any man going to comes to you, you respect yourself. That when a man is coming to you, they're going to come to you out of in a wrong way. They too. Listen, Black. For me, that I've met a lot of Black men that I've seen that I've met. When they come to me in a certain way, on their own, they will change their tune, right? If they were about to say something, but then it's the way you look, your totality of the way you look. If you're coming out of your house wearing tongue with your blessing on the strong fruit, they're gonna approach you the same way. I think anybody that knew me in the early 90s can say, we also went to club. My God, you know, we dance, we do all these things. But guess what? What is not going to happen is me getting down in the club. But that is just me, though, because I believe in hell. I believe somebody's going to go to hell, somebody's going to go to paradise. So that kind of keep me in check, because I don't want to be counting how many men I've slept with, right? And I don't want to wake up the next day feeling like I need to kill this person because I don't like him. I'm not going to lay down with a person that I don't like. I'm not going to, if I look at you and you know what my time, that if I close my eyes and I don't want to see you there when I open my eyes, it's never going to happen. And that's what everybody is saying is called responsibility. If you
Missy Barr, but let me tell you something. They do like each other. They like each other until they fuck in the bathroom or fuck outside in the car, until they go to Waffle House, get something to eat. By the time they food digests, they don't like each other no more. They are in love while they're sitting there dancing and shaking their stinking ass all on the street, all in the club, all grinding on each other all night. And matter of fact, shout out to Miss Aurora Mary. Changed Aurora Martinez. I didn't know that you got married, young lady. Shout out to her. Everybody was saying about her accent. She's from the Belize. She's from Belize. So shout out to Miss Aurora Mary. So, and everybody else on the platform also. But Missy Burr, the thing about it, when you walk up to somebody like you can look at you and tell that you ain't for the fuck shit. You like me, even though I talk the way that I talk, if I was standing right there in front of you, I would be damn near holding your hand and trying to get you to make me some goat pepper soup or some shit. You get what I'm saying? Like you can tell by the mentality. But in the United States, you know what I'm saying, you got women that dress like you can damn near see through their clothes. You can see like the things that they're wearing. You can see the crevices. You can see the print. You know what I'm saying? Even I'm looking at Miss Black Beauty, you know what I'm saying, with her thirst trap pick up there. You get what I'm saying? Like that could be considered. I'm not talking about you per se, but what I'm saying is that women can look at another woman dressed nicely and be like, that can look good on me. But if a woman is 10 pounds heavier than Miss Black Beauty, and if her thighs are big or whatever, it's not gonna look the same. So what I'm saying is, a woman like Miss Black Beauty can put on an outfit and it can look classy on her, and another female can put on the same outfit and it can look trashy. You get what I'm saying?
But I want
That's how.
I'm in Lagos right now. I've been living here for 8-9 months now, and I will say that I have some clothes that I brought from Miami that I'm a little embarrassed to wear here, that I don't wear here. But when I go out, hold on. But when I go out though, the Niger gal, they are in skimpier clothes now. So when you talk about Western mentality, all down Admiralty Way, girls selling themselves. All down Admiralty. And they are in smaller clothes than I brought from the States, from Miami.
Because that is the nature of. So
yes, over there. It's the Western mindset is coming. I think it's the most dangerous thing that Africa is doing with the Western mindset of this hypersexuality is coming over there. The girl, like the difference there, Miss Black Beauty, that in the Western society, you can walk around with a nightgown on. You have some type of protection. You know what I'm saying? You got cameras on every corner. You know, you can run up to a police officer or to a man and he might help you out. But you know, if you dress like that in Africa, somebody can yoke your ass up and put your ass on the back of an elephant, and the next morning your ass in Saudi Arabia somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, I know that they're doing the same.
Hey, yo, Sip and Black Beauty, let Missy Bar finish. Go ahead, Missy.
I got you. The protection is not the same. Go ahead, Mr. Bar.
So what the sister was saying, very important, right? Because we cannot underestimate the effect of social media, and really what you really think, if you want to say what did the West, particularly in the United States, export to the world, is degeneracy, disrespect. That's all they export to the world. Where before I left Nigeria, you will hardly see women wearing pants, right? Not only do they wear in pants, now you have women that will wear a type of jeans that doesn't even fit their body type. So what you're beginning to see now is not just that in this particular country, Black people have to wrestle their morality, their sense of well-being away from this degenerate. We also in Africa, particularly Nigeria, we have to go ahead and wrestle, because the disrespect, right, all up in your face. If you're not my father, you can't tell me what to do. If you're not my mother, you can't tell me what to do, right? That I get to do whatever I want with absolute no consequences, right? I think it was Sister Chrissy. She was talking about how, what did the woman use? What did they used to do back then if there's an issue in relationship? What it used to happen is the elder used to come together, right? If you're having difficulties in your relationship, before that relationship finally ends, you know, from the woman's side. Good afternoon. From the woman's side, you know, from the husband's side, right? They will call you to order. They will try to settle this relationship, unless if it's a terrible and abusive relationship. I'm talking about the man beating up the woman to the extent to near death, or I mean, in a very abusive relationship in that way, right? Some culture will just return your bride price. And remember, you're not just going to marry nilly-willy unless you come to the United States. Then everything is for the dogs, right? But even to today, still in African culture, the man has to pay a bride price. So a man is not going to mistreat you if he sees that you come from a home that people are going to challenge, you know, if you don't take care of their daughter, right? A woman is not going to mistreat her man if she knew she has to answer to her in-laws, right? That is not always the case all the time, but for the majority of the time, right? To propel the humanity forward, to propel the society forward, right? both the black man and the black woman and black child, at least you have to live in a peaceful home. A peaceful home makes a peaceful society, right? So what is happening in the black community right now? Look at all the way in which this country affect our relationship, the way we interact with each other, right? So they can come out and say, you black woman don't need a black man, right? But you can get married, you can have a child with that black man, but you don't need them. Consequently, you don't know his mother, you don't know his father, you don't know his entire community. How about the fact that you might even be related though? Because if you sleep with somebody at a club, what makes you think that you are not family? Just because you don't know that person, what makes you think that that person might not even be your own immediate brother and sisters? And we knew how the possibility of a man having a child out of the household where they are not telling you, right? The consequences is too greater. Many of our behavior in this country now, in fact, is very scary, right? To the extent that you may end up with your first cousin, second cousin, simply because you didn't take the time to say, oh, well, who are you? Some I am well aware of relationship that I'm aware of in Nigeria where when the two people married together, right, they thought they're not from the same lineage, only to come together and find out that they are second, third cousins to each other. They can't get married. If they had come together and sleep with each other, that's it, right? That's it. There is no moving forward. That child is already in there. So what Black Americans have to now do is to go back. You don't have to know a lot of history, but you at least need to know that before you lay down with a man or a woman lay down with a man lay down with a woman, you need to at least get the most basic of information. What if the person you're sleeping with is a serial rapist, a serial killer, right? How about if you say, who's your parents? Who's your mother? Who's your father? Who are your sisters? Who are your brothers? Can I come and meet them? Can my family meet them? It doesn't mean that you're going to marry, but it just means that you are acknowledging that I like this person. I would like to go out with this person, that we may possibly come together in unity, right? Many of our African relationship that is messing up in this country is because most of us too are coming together without knowing anything. So you sleep with each other, you have babies. There is no spiritual connection, right? There is a lot that Black Americans have to deal with, and we Africans, we have to wrestle our mind, our brain, from this demonic. You see, look at who we are, and I'm going to keep repeating this. Look at the society, look at the people we are following. We are following a group of people that they can sleep with a man, sleep with a woman, and when they're done, any animal is fair game. When they're done, they sleep with children. We're following those people, right? When they don't want to be a man anymore, they can go ahead and put on a dress. When they don't want to be a woman anymore, they can go ahead, shout out to Kardashian's stepfather, right? They can go ahead and, are you a man all this while for many years of marriage, and in the middle of the afternoon, the lack of shame, now you put on a dress and say you are not a woman. These are the people we are following, and they are changing the way we behave. Now, we're now coming to a situation where America don't know who a woman is. So they don't know if you're a woman, you have to have a womb, you have to be having your monthly cycle. And you don't understand that everything in this society is meant to destroy the Black unity. And the moment the Black woman signed up and said, give me that food stamp, and I'm saying for anybody that needs it, if you need it, I'm not saying you should not get it, but at least you need to work with the person you're with first. Work with that person first and see, and again, black people have to go back to what it means to have a family. You have to go back to the grandfather, the grandmother, the mother, right? Your own immediate family. We have to reconcile and start working in unity. If we're working in unity, the way their sister was complaining that she doesn't have any food or any money in the house will not happen. Anyway, another informative information. So go ahead.
Me?
Go ahead.
The way I was brought up, right? Like back in mama time, they needed like people to help me, like men to help me. Because I grew up in a family where my stepfather who raised me, he had like 32 kids, so he had different family. But the way he did it, he would give mama the money, so she buy whatever we all need. So we didn't feel like, okay, I'm envious of my like his kids or whatever. Cause we didn't have time for like, okay, his kids will come to the house and visit, but we hated the fact that back in the time women had to depend on men to help take care of them with their kids. I hated that. So I grew up being independent. Like my mom raised me to be like a go-getter, a hustler. So I always said to myself, if I have a man, I want somebody that I can build with. Not somebody who want to bring me baggages and stress. Somebody that we can just, like make it love women, because I support them. But I don't like women that sit down and feel like they're getting their life wasted, and then they feel like somebody's supposed to come and clear up their life. Because I have friends who older than me and they give me those kind of stupid advice, as in, okay, I have kids now, I messed up, so now the next man I have, he can't repeat this. I can't repeat the same mistake I did with the other men. Women tell me that. They say, what? Then when I talk the way I talk, women attack me. They feel like I'm crazy or whatever. They feel like there are men out there who will take you with all those bunch of kids. Because remember, like I grew up in that too, and some of us grew up in that. They have men out there who will take you all those bunch of kids, and that's their responsibility. Exactly. My brother did it, but my brother later on he regretted it. He regretted it because he was a go-getter like me, and he had a lot of money. But the woman he married, she just spent out the money like they're rich, but she dropped all the load on him, and I hated that. But he said he was in love, so he was practically blind. But when he got out of it, he regret being with her. They know they divorced, but she want to come back now in their later years. He don't want her because she didn't change spiritually, mentally. She didn't change. She's the same person, and he remembers everything. So he don't want her. But I think my brother, don't ever go back. She don't want you, but because of what you can provide, what you have to offer. What did she offer you? She didn't offer you but a bunch of kids and her negative behavior, and you know what I mean? Yes, he was in love.
And you really cannot, it is hard to overstate the effect of all this media, all these movies, all this. Okay, for example, was it on the 19th, the weekend, the Father Day's weekend? I went to this rally that they are having for the June 19th, right? And they brought the politicians. It was a bunch of black people, beautiful. Black men are there, black women are there, beautiful black children, right? Everybody are there, and they were giving some award out to the students, very high achievers, young people, right? So they have these politicians to come and speak. And a white female that was going to become the next DA in the state of Maryland, she came up there and says, oh, she high five everybody, and then the next thing she said, oh, I'm here, I'm for women's rights, I'm for reproductive rights, men say they want to take care of us, men say they want to protect us, but we don't need men. So as soon as she said that, I said, okay, let me stand right here. So I stand behind. I really want to get a load of her to really understand where she's going with this, right? So she said, we don't need men, But then the next word out of my mouth, she said, we don't need men. By the way, I have 4 children. I have 4. You know why, woman? She's not coming there telling you she's single. She's married. She said, I have 4 children. So how did you get to 4 children if you don't have a man? But you see, she left that little bit part out. Let it become if she ever win that election, which I pray she doesn't win, but if she ever win that election, right, you know what she's going to do? She's going to bring a white man in front of her with her 4 kids. So this woman come out here telling you that you don't need a man to protect you. What just happened in the last 2 years? In the last 2 years, when the ships were down, when everybody's looking for who is going to help them bother their house.
Yeah.
Who does everybody was wishing that the guy, those women that were single were wishing that they have a man. And I wish somebody over there would have challenged her and say, will you take that shit away from here?
Yeah,
I know that woman has a woman. Go ahead.
Hey, Missy Bar, obstacles to opportunities. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. No. So that was a lot. So I definitely would say to the brothers, listen. I'm not even gonna go in. I'm not even gonna go in Dynast. Dynast, most of the time, I used to be on here pretty heavy. But what it ended up being is a repetitive, they did this, they other people, the society, the dinner, like we're talking about, the Western culture being X, Y, and Z. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves, right? And Dr. Amos Wilson, which was one of the most intellectual Black intellects, probably the best Black mind ever to exist, spoke, we spend too much time worried about other folks in society and media when what we need to worry about is ourselves. The moment we change ourselves is the moment that the paradigm change. People start relating to us different. And what the sister and what the elder was talking about mainly was, her demeanor, dress how you want to be addressed. So she has a certain way she goes about life, and certain people know, well, if I can't relate to her in a way, or I can't approach to her in this way. So a lot of things would be solved by us taking accountability for our own actions. Now, as far as we go to the continent and in Africa, it wouldn't go. Listen, we have degenerate everything across the board. Black people are powerless in this world. That's the facts. Regardless of what anybody says, the family over here is good, the family over there is bad. Look, we got bad politics, we got bad economics, we got bad a lot of things. And we need to get stuff together. And how do we get that together? By being honest with ourselves and people actually coming together with the ones who are actually doing productive work and make things happen. The rest of them, listen, there's a whole community amongst other groups that you will never hear about. That look, Fox News don't go down to the trailer park. Why? Because they let them folks stay down at the trailer park. They are not about to include them into the major points of what needs to be done in order to move forward. Why? Because you'll sit around all day getting your McDonald's thrown on the floor. Once you try to get and actually, I think somebody else said, you can't actually, make a deal with a terrorist. So what we have to really be honest with, and I say men, baby, you can add that, right? What I would say is that take your resources and save your child. It's not a village. Once you start allocating resources to that village, and that village is not a two-way street. You're saying, I'm going to feed this village, but the kids in there don't have to listen to you. They're not under your authority. They're not there following your educational program. They're not there following your financial program. Where are my resources being allocated? So, man, make sure when you allocate your resources, you do it wisely. And I would say one thing, don't be warped by what most people say. Most men in here, if you're making 40 to 50,000 to 70,000, that's a lot of money in the planet. We talk about the 1% in America when literally everybody in the developed world is the 1% of the planet. A lot of people are out here hurting for cash and resources. So it's time for us to make sure when we do have relations, we have it with the right folks. I know it's not going to work out that way, but once you find out you took the L, it is not your obligation. Don't let these people in this culture tell you, oh, it's your responsibility. Yes, you as a man. If you don't do this, then you ain't this and you ain't that. Listen, I don't care what nobody say about any culture and everything. Black people, we need to get our stuff together. We need to worry about economics. We need to worry about our politics. We need to worry about working with those who are productive members of society. I would say when I come in the room, most of y'all should goddamn listen. Why? Because I build factories. I own industrial real estate. I do things that actually produce for people goods and services across the planet. Why? Because I got off the goddamn streams and I stopped arguing with other Black folks and decided to take lessons. I tried to watch other cultures, learn what they do, be keen about their influences. You know my history, Dynast Amir. I was not only a combat military serviceman, I was a diplomat for 4 years, and I learned way more than most people would ever know exists as far as building a nation. So what I would say is the most important for us is not to sit up here and talk about the baby mamas and the ratchets and all this other debauchery stuff. It's for us to get on our purpose. It's time for us to work together and get something done. And all the family things, look, man, I'm not even going to say that would be nice. That would be nice to have great families. That sounds nice. But what's most important is we start building some roads, we start getting some electricity, we start getting some water to the people, and we start doing for the masses. And once we become a productive people, we can get some things done. But as far as this McDonald's stuff, and as far as this guy dealing with his baby mama, it is not the concern of where we need to go. We need to be talking about something productive. We need to be talking about something on some Elon Musk level. We now need to be talking about what happened in the trailer parks, what happened when Big Bootsy came through and they threw his McDonald's on the floor because he didn't get it for his other 4 children. Listen, we got a mission, all right? And we got to go forward. Obstacles to opportunity all day, man. We got to look at the obstacles and turn them into opportunity. We ain't got the West to blame. They didn't do nothing.
Shout out to the shadow sniper in the building.
Hey, simply, Missy Bar, we'll go ahead. Well, simply, go ahead and we let Missy Bar close out. But go ahead, simply.
Let me give it official. Shout out to the shadow sniper in the building. You know what I'm saying? He did not pick that nickname. I gave it to him. So if he feel like it's disrespectful, it's not. It's because that we got logical brothers that are doing business. You get what I'm saying? Now, one thing I give him and College Genesis credit for, they're like the quote unquote unofficial Hustle Smart, the Silk Police Academy hood booger whisperer. You get what I'm saying? Now, we got black brothers that's doing business. No matter how ghetto y'all think that I am, you know what I'm saying? And I got some ratchetness in me, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, every Sunday in the roughest neighborhood in Atlanta, which is Bankhead, which is at the Petro, I go there every Sunday between 2 and 5 o'clock, and I help brothers that stop working for white people, stop doing nothing on the block, stop selling poison to the people, and get a job in a 24-hour business called transportation. Till this day, since the last time Shadow Sniper saw me on this platform, I have put $700,000 back in black men pockets. You know what I'm saying? Now, what they do with it, I have nothing to do with it. I don't know. But what I have did was I have helped at least 10 brothers in the year become entrepreneurs so they can show their sons and their daughters that they're entrepreneurs instead of bragging about how many microwaves in the break room at your job that you've been working there for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing about it, and how do I know? Hustle Smart, how you know that you put $700,000 back in the community? Because Hustle Smart got a cut. You know what I'm saying? Because if these brothers make that's how Hustle Smart knows. You know what I'm saying? Hustle Smart, for the deal that I got with the company that I get my truck from, they tell me if the person runs so many miles, if they clear at least 70,000, we're talking about $70,000 for a brother that has no education, probably got a felony on his record, probably got 3 or 4 baby mamas that's snagging at his pocket, hanging off like leeches. You know what I'm saying? I know because I will not get that $3,000 check unless they pull 70,000. So that's how I know. That's how I can come up with that exact amount that I have put at least 70,000. And some of the brothers that I see that I help, you know what I'm saying, they make more than that. One brother showed me his settlement. He made $130,000 in his first year. You get what I'm saying? Instead of being on the block, he chose to be a reformed street nigga. You get what I'm saying? Because that was one of the selling points that I told these brothers. I'm like, you ain't got to change the way you act. You know what I'm saying? But you got to change the things that you do. You can still talk. You can still talk hood. You can still curse. You can still do all that shit. But the things that you do cannot be what is done to continue the detriment of our neighborhoods. You get what I'm saying? So I know that y'all want to hate Hustle Smart, but you cannot hate because people love. I am the people's champ. I had nobody on my side when I first came in, but Praise White Jesus for the Silk Police Academy. Shameless plug. Y'all go over there and subscribe. I'm gonna do a show this weekend, and y'all gonna see that what I do for Black brothers is not to judge them, but to tell them it's baby steps. It's just like being an alcoholic going to AAA or with Alcohol Anonymous. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand to the path that you're going, and if you can't run that path the way somebody else do, run it the way you want to. But you're gonna have to own your own business to run it the way you want to. So that's why I can be as ghetto as I want to be. That's how I can talk the shit that I can talk, because nobody can't fire me. The only person that can hire and fire Hustle Smart is me. You know what I'm saying? It's me, baby. You know what I'm saying? Straight out the trap, straight out the hood, straight out the gutter, straight out the prison. Ain't graduated for nothing. And I gross over 200,000 a year. I am the definition of a high value Tyrone. You can go to my channel, you can see my house. You can go outside and see my truck out there in the front yard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm ghetto as hell, but my house is clean. I got white sofas through my house. You get what I'm saying? This is the point. You do not straight up. And let me tell y'all something. And as ghetto as hood as y'all think I am, as soon as I made my first $200,000, the first thing I did is got the hell away from Black people. You get what I'm saying? Because when I was in the Black neighborhood, you know what happened when I went to work? Black people were sitting across the street because she had Section 8. She had all her cousins. She had Pukanisha, Latrenda, Darquavius, Dartrail, you know what I'm saying? And Sad Money and little Buddy Rowe over there watching me leave. So as I'm looking on my phone through the app, I see these dudes breaking into my house. I know the old cliche thing with the joke. No, these dudes are in my house making a sandwich. You can see the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on. And now that I moved out here where all the houses are, for far as Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, $300,000 house neighborhood, you got a good neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like when the white people want to knock on my door and want to ask me about things or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not plotting on me. You know what I'm saying? My house has not been broken into in the last 3 years I've been staying without at. When I was staying in the Black neighborhood, my house was getting broken into every 2 or 3 months. So you got to change your scenery sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Because once you elevate Black people, you're not going to be accepted in that same thuggy, ruggish, you know what I'm saying, husky hyena, shaking your ass everywhere, being thugs in the block. You're not going to be accepted in the hood no more. The only thing that the hood knows and understand, respect, is hood nigga politics. You get what I'm saying? So if you ain't ready to slang that strap, if you ain't ready to slang some dope, if you ain't sit up there ready to drink some early time or some goddamn rock and ride straight without no chaser, they're not gonna accept you in the hood. So only thing you can do is what like these entertainers do. They come back every year, give out some nasty ass turkeys, some bullshit bikes, some East Pack cheap book bags, and some goddamn crayons. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do, and they get the hell on because in our community, we prey on our elites. We don't see our elites as somebody to behold. We idolize them on the internet, but when they come into our neighborhoods, we sit up there with our hands down and with our mouth open, the same way like in Africa, when the white people come into them villages and the Black people ain't got nothing, walking barefooted, want to sit up there and invite them in their house and making some goddamn jollof rice. We sick in the mind. We the sick in mind as a people. So that's why I say 85% of us is done. The 15% better get it, stack it up, and have you an African plan. African plan, Colombia plan, Belize plan, Trinidad plan, whatever plan you got. But you're never gonna, the boot is never gonna respect the ant. And I don't care how much y'all think that y'all are as Black people, no matter how much you romanticize about the Black community to the white supremacy, you are a ant and they are the boot. And I appreciate you for having me on, my brother.
All right, Missy Barr. Missy Barr, go ahead and close this out, Missy Barr.
So, I mean, the brother has everything you say is very relevant, right? But at the same time, we cannot say that Black people, whether you are here or there, wherever we are more than 1 billion people in the world, right? We're not, I don't buy into that just 15% of us. Maybe other people are hearing these brothers right now, obstacle opportunity and police academy, all of you, all the sisters. Just us keep talking like this, we change people's mind. We are not so hard-headed that we can hear or we can see or we don't know that something is wrong. A lot of our people were in a state of depression. And one of the things that happen once you start doing a lot of things that is anti-African center or anti-Black yourself, it is hard to come back from that, right? You can't ask somebody that cut off his private part to be like a woman. If you're telling them about this African thing, they've already gone too far. So for those that are not gone too far, we all have to come together. All these things that you guys are talking about, the best way, the only thing we can do is to keep telling each other, as my sister just texted me, everything we're talking about is not going to happen unless if we are honest that we extend the hand of love that we're doing, that we continue to propelling humanity forward. But for humanity to be forward, it requires the entire family unit, the father, the mother, the son or daughter, the grandmother, the grandfather, the great, and to make sure the things that are happening to us now never happens again. This is what happens when you allow other group of people to get into your relationship. The moment the Black man and the Black woman accept public help from these people is the moment that they get to tell you how to raise your family. To the extent now, they're telling you whether you can breastfeed your child or not. They're telling you whether you can feed your child organic food, right? We have to, because it's not all these things that we're saying that they will allow you to make money, that individual can make money. But the best revenge in this society now is to all of us to go back together the original way. What is the original way? The Black man is the head of the house, right? The Black woman by his side is the support. I don't buy into the idea of a woman being behind. Is to be the support, to be on the side of your man, right? So I pray that all of us will continue this conversation, and those that have ears we hear and they will make changes. Those that can see will see and they can make changes. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Marriage Search for Haru. Peace.
Take care.
We gone.